There are a few areas that define a man, like sports.
I think we can live with that.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to today's Sport Live, reaching you live on Today95.1 FM right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. It's Saturday, the 16th day of the month of June 2019, and it's time for us to talk sports this afternoon. A lot to talk about. Eden Hazard completes his move to Real Madrid. FIFA Women's World Cup currently ongoing right there in France, and of course, not forgetting the latest on the transfers making the rounds as the Copa America got underway last night right there in Brazil. So much cheers and boos for the Brazilian side, despite emerging victorious in the very first game. On tonight, you'll see Lionel Messi and his team Argentina do battle against Colombia. A lot on the show this afternoon. And of course, my name is Emmanuel Chibuzo. I am the top striker this afternoon. I won't be top striking alone, as I have Dorcas Koki right here in the building. Dorcas, so welcome to the show.
Good afternoon to you, Top Striker, and to the guys listening out there. Good afternoon. It's nice to be here again to talk sports.
And of course, the program is highly interactive. Of course, this afternoon we shall be opening the phone lines at some point for you to be part of the program. SMS portal is also very much in the mix. Twitter also on the menu this afternoon. And of course, before we start proper, let me hand you over to Dorcas to take us through the week in review.
Slick. Hey. She dey play ball low. Hey. And she dey score goal for my heart, you. And she dey give them colo. Hey. God, I use my ass now for life, true love no be.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Week in Review, where we recap major sporting events that went down in the outgoing week. Starting from the NBA, where Toronto Raptors became the 2019 NBA champions, and they are the first team outside the US to do it. The Raptors took Game 6 with a 114 to 110 for a 4-2 series victory. The match ended the 2019 championship series and was the first win for the Raptors, who made their NBA Finals debut in their 24th season.
She dey give them colo. Hey, she dey dribble them.
Kawhi Leonard, the all-star forward Toronto acquired last summer from San Antonio Spurs, was named final MVP for the second time. Leonard is the third player to win the award with more than one franchise, alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James. And to Formula One, where Sebastian Vettel lost victory in the Canadian Grand Prix to Lewis Hamilton after being penalized for dangerous driving against his rival. And off to tennis we go this afternoon, where Rafael Nadal won his record-extending 12th French Open title, defeating Dominic Thiem of Austria in 4 sets on Sunday, 6-3, 5-7, 6-1, 6-1. This is the second straight year Nadal has defeated Thiem for the championship on clay court at Roland Garros. With the win, Nadal became the first player in tennis history to win 12 titles at a single Grand Slam event. In total, the Spaniard now has 18 Grand Slam titles wins, 2 behind all-time leader Roger Federer. And women's play, Australia's Ashley Barty said returning to tennis was the best decision she has made after winning her first Grand Slam singles title at the French Open. Barty took a break from the sport in 2014 to play professional cricket. She returned almost 2 years later and capped her comeback by beating Czech teenager Marketa Vondrasova 6-1, 6-3 at the Roland Garros on Saturday.
She dey score goal for my heart, you.
And now heading to France, where the Super Falcons of Nigeria on Tuesday beat South Korea 2-0 in Group A to bounce back from their 3-0 defeat in their first game to Norway at the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. Debutants South Africa faces elimination from the Women's World Cup after another defeat to China in the second game of Group B, which ended 1-0. While the United States recorded the biggest ever victory in the FIFA Women's World Cup as they crushed Thailand 13-0. Meanwhile, Mata became the first woman to score in 5 consecutive World Cups despite losing to Australia 3-2, which inflicted the first group stage defeat on the South Americans in 24 years. Mata's 16th goal saw her become Brazil's record scorer at senior World Cups as she surpasses former Real Madrid forward Ronaldo's 15 while moving level with Germany's Miroslav Klose at the top of the standings. And we head straight to the AFCON where Super Eagles 23-man squad landed in the city of Ismailia, Egypt on Sunday night ahead of the 2019 African Cup of Nations. The Eagles departed from Delta State where they played the Warriors of Zimbabwe in a friendly which ended in a goalless draw. And in the domestic scene, the league management company charged Kano Pillars with a four-count breach of the framework and rules of the NPFL, sequel to crowd disturbance and harassment of match referees in one of the fixtures of match day 4 of the NPFL Championship playoffs. Pillar were fined 8 million naira and its captain Rabiu Ali banned from all NPFL activities and matches for a period of 12 matches. Meanwhile, 18 years after winning their first title and 4 years after their last, Enyimba Ofaba have been crowned champions of the NPFL for an unprecedented 8th time after they finished in first place in the NPFL Championship playoff. The top 3 clubs have thus qualified to present Nigeria on the continent, with Enyimba and Kano Pillars securing slots in the CAF Champions League, while Rangers will once again play in the CAF Confederation Cup after they reached the group stages of the competition last season. Enough to other competition. We told you earlier that the Copa America began yesterday, and host Brazil were jeered by their own fans in their opening Group A game against Bolivia despite winning 3-0. Meanwhile, Barcelona's Felipe Coutinho scored twice in that encounter. And over now to Europe, where host Portugal claimed their second trophy in 3 years by beating the Netherlands 1-0 to win the inaugural UEFA Nations League, while Jordan Pickford was England's sport kick hero as they beat Switzerland 6-5 on penalties to finish third in the Nations League. Still in Europe, what's club football? We go this afternoon where the Premier League fixtures for the 2019-2020 campaign are out. The new season is scheduled to start on Saturday, August 10, and will conclude on Sunday, May 17. For the first time this season, the Premier League will have a mid-season break. 5 matches will be played on February 8 and the other 5 on February 15. That split will be confirmed in December when the broadcast picks are announced. The Community Shield takes place at Wembley on Saturday, August 4, as Premier League champions Manchester City take on Premier League runners-up Liverpool. However, video assistant referees are set to be used in the Premier League next season after clubs agreed in principle to their introduction. While games to look forward to this weekend will see the Super Eagles of Nigeria battle the Teranga Lions of Senegal tomorrow in a friendly game just days before the AFCON kicks off in Egypt, and Argentina will tackle Colombia in Group B of the Copa America. And it's on that note, we call it a wrap on the week in review, where we recap all sporting events in the outgoing week on the marathon edition of Today's Sports Live. I am Dorcas Koki, the sports diva. The show continues.
She dey play ball low. Hey, and she dey score goal for my heart, you. And she dey give them colo. Hey, you be my ass now for life, my true love not be joking, be my wife. Barcelona, you too tight, you be number one, my left and right, If you be mine, I go marry you. You be red devil, that's why I badu you. Chelsea, I too cherish you. They play not small, I didn't feel you. If you be Marcel, I say they play well. By many, I say you to your knees. PSG, you should roll my ball, and Leon, they play well, they play ball. For my heart, you, she dey score goal. For my heart, you, she dey give them colo. Hey, she dey dribble them. If you believe in Liverpool, the rest you dey give me go spin too. Give me Liverpool.
And of course, course, that was a week in review, produced and packaged by Dorcas herself. And of course, Dorcas, let me start with you this afternoon. Talking points, outgoing week in the world of sports.
First off, it has to be the game between United States and Thailand. For me, that was so massive. I felt so bad for the Thailand ladies when they had to concede 13 goals, which means even if they played, even if they won, or maybe trying to see if they could go for the round of 16, if they maybe won a game. They had lots of goal differences to to get to, but then I think that was the highlight for me, scoring 13 past a particular team, and then one player got to score 5 goals. That's Alex Morgan. She's very brilliant when it comes to scoring goals for the United States. She has done well for herself, and then Mata breaking virtually every record that particular night. But then again, Brazil lost to an Australian side. I was disappointed that Australia had to lost to Italy, but then they came back to win Brazil. Brazil hasn't lost in the group stages for over 24 years. So far, I think the women World Cup seemed like it's a record breaking ground this year, and everybody seems to be breaking. And Nigeria broke another record. But when I say another record, they won their first match ever after January 2011. If I'm right, that was the last time they scored a goal against. That was against Canada, and then
2015.
2015. Thank you. So far, I think this particular FIFA Women's World Cup, it's a record-breaking ground for virtually every country, and it's exciting to see.
Victor, Oria, he's in the building. Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Top Striker. Good afternoon to the guys. I was listening to Doctor Sam go about the weekend review, and for me, so many things happen in the world of sports. I mean, endless, starting from NBA, when, of course, Toronto Raptors, they did it right there. Massive one for them. I was very, very impressed. I never gave them a chance against the Golden State Warriors, but then they actually shut me up. Also in the French Open, we saw the King of Clay. Yes, that was on Sunday. He actually did it against the one that's being called the Prince of Clay now, Dominic Thiem. And also when we come to the local scene, the MPFL, of course, Eimba cleans yet another trophy, and they sort of ended the debate about who is the most successful club after they've gotten 8 MPFL titles now. Amazing one for them. Then of course we've got to talk about the FIFA Women's World Cup. There's just something about this World Cup. It's just really different. The class, the style of play. I was watching the match yesterday between England and Argentina, and I was like, I could not tell for once that this. No offense, but these are females playing. The pace, every single thing you get in a normal game was very present. The drama, the pace, the techniques, the skills. My God, amazing! I've got to see. Just like Doka stated, Thailand, United States of America, big one. Which is raising another debate. I keep saying the United States of America, the female national team, they are more successful than they look like the only team, the only country that the female national team is more successful. When you compare what the United States of America women national team does compared to the men, you've got to say the women, they deserve more credit than they got. And of course, some debates came out and criticism came out that why should the United States of America celebrate all 13 goals?
Well, it's an event we're going to go through that. Of course, that's one of the major talking points we have with the concerns of women's World Cup.
But of course, I think, and then not to forget, Eden Hazard, again, the unveiling of Eden Hazard right there in Real Madrid, the Los Blancos shirt. So a really, really big weekend. I never expected it because I thought maybe, when club football is over, it seems to get boring. But then there's just been so much happening in the world of sports. And we have...
Enjoy this year. Next time.
We are very lucky that we have...
Next season summer, it may be very boring.
And we have 5 days to the AFCON. So it's massive.
And the 20 World Cup final comes today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We saw I watched the third place match yesterday. That was actually pretty boring. I had to go after the 90th minute. It ended into extra time. I think Ecuador 1-0.
Yeah.
But it was actually
boring
okay.
for you, for Ecuador. It's a landmark achievement for them. But of course, the program is highly interactive this afternoon. So I'll be talking about all this and lots more in the course of the program this afternoon. Courtesy demands will start with the ladies this afternoon. Ladies first from the FIFA Women's World Cup right there in France. But of course, FIFA Women's World Cup right there. And of course, think of iconic Brazilian World Cup strikers, and the names Ronaldo and Pele are likely to spring instantly to your mind. Yes, the real Ronaldo in the words of Jose Mourinho, talking about Jose Luis Ronaldo de Lima, the real Ronaldo right there. He played for some of the best teams: Inter Milan, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona. We go on and on and on. Of course, even PSV Eindhoven, he played for them as well. And of course, but what about Mata? That's a big question this afternoon. Her 16th goal, a penalty in a 3-2 defeat by Australia on Thursday, means she now has scored one more World Cup goal than Ronaldo de Lima and 4 more than Edson Arantes do Nascimento, the man we love to call Pele. She was already the record scorer at the Women's World Cup, and her latest strike means she's the only player, male or female, to find the net at 5 different World Cups. You didn't hear me right? She's already had the record at the Women's World Cup, and her latest strike means she's the only player, male or female, to find the net at 5 different tournaments. She went off at halftime against Australia, but if she scores one more, she will take the outright record for most World Cup goals. She's currently leveled with Miroslav Klose, despite having played 6 games fewer, 18 games than the German. How does Marta compare to Brazil's other World Cup legends? In pure goal-scoring terms, the 33-year-old's record makes her the standout Brazilian World Cup striker. She has more goals than a better minutes. Of course, she has more goals and a better minutes per goal record than any of her compatriots. And of course, let's see her goals and minutes per ratio. And of course, Marta in 5 World Cups has scored 16 goals, 100 matches. She's equaling a goal in every 100 minutes in 18 matches in the World Cup. 16 goals in 18 World Cup matches, averaging or equaling 100 goals in every game she has played. For Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, in 2 World Cups, he scored 15 goals, averaging a goal in every 108 minutes in 19 World Cup appearances. Pele, 3 World Cups, he scored 12 goals, averaging a goal in every 105 minutes in 12 appearances. While Christian, also a Brazilian currently at the World Cup as well, she has scored 11 goals, averaging a goal in every 127 minutes in 19 matches. While Jairzinho, of course, you all know him, the legend of Brazil right there, 1 World Cup, he scored 9 goals in 16 matches, averaging a goal in every 158 minutes right there for Brazil. So the top 5 has Mata, 16 goals in 18 appearances, 15 goals for Ronaldo in 19 appearances. Pele has 12 goals in 12 appearances. And of course, not forgetting Christian, 11 goals in 19 appearances. And Jairzinho has 9 goals in 16 matches right there at the World Cup. But of course, when you talk about great Brazilian strikers, you call Edson Arantes do Nascimento, the one we love to call Pele. And of course, you also have to call the likes of Ronaldo, Luis Nazário de Lima. Of course, they call him the real Ronaldo right there. The other names are there. Neymar looking around if he continues the goal scoring form for the Brazilian team. But the question is, where would you rank Mata, the greatest Brazilian striker in the World Cup, male or female? Right there. Let me start with you. Okay, Kotsi, women, Dorcas. Mata at the World Cup.
Marta at the World Cup. She is a 6-time World Player of the Year, so we're expecting her to, do everything. At first, we thought she wasn't going to play any of their matches in this Women's World Cup because she had injuries. She didn't get to play the first game, but she came on, and yes, she got that sports kick, and she converted it, and that is what everybody was expecting. She was a composure in that particular penalty take was something else. It was unbelievable. She just took it, and
it's the experience you get after playing 6 World Cups.
Exactly, because the composure was just there. Seriously, we cannot just talk everything right now about this particular matter of a lady. She has done well for Brazil. She has done well for women's football. She is a great hero when it comes to women's football. When it comes to Brazil ladies, she's a name that nobody will forget. When we're talking about Messi, we're talking about Marta, the M squared. That's what I do call them. So for me, she has done a lot for them. And Brazil. If I were Brazil, I would create and I would put a statue of her somewhere in Brazil because she has done well so far. Yes, exactly, because she has done a lot for Brazil themselves so far. And in this FIFA World Cup, Brazil, yes, they are there. They are playing pretty well, and this is the first time in 24 years that they've lost a game in the group stages. And Australia is the first person to do that, the first country to do that against them. So for me, Their defense was horrible. Yes, they tried to hold the Matildas, that's the Australian side, but they couldn't. And Australia came back from 2 goals down to win that particular match. So for me, I think it's a good one for Brazil. Or not exactly for Brazil, for Marta herself. Though they lost, but she could break records and records and record. I'm happy for her, and I'm happy for everything she's going to achieve.
And of course, Victor, let me come to you. We've seen the stats. She's joined with the all-time greatest scorer in the history of the World Cup. Talking about Miroslav Klose, joined 16. One more goal for her, she will be heads and shoulders above every other player at the World Cup. But of course, can you rank her in the same class or category with the likes of Pele, with the likes of Ronaldo, not minding the gender issue at the moment?
By rank.
Well, I think you cannot but mind the gender issue. If for that reason, you want to ask yourself, okay, some persons might bring up the argument that, okay, the competition in the female World Cup is not as fierce as the competition in the male World Cup. But then, whether you like it or not, this lady has proven herself over time. She's 33 years old, and you can just imagine being in 6 World Cups and you're just 33 years old, and she's doing so well for herself. So we can't call her one of the all-time Brazilian greats, no doubt about that. When you look at what she brings to the table, when you look at her level of experience, her wealth of experience, and also the style of play that she brings to the national team, she's definitely one of the all-time Brazilian greats, and she has done something for female football that and it might take a long time before we see that happen again. And but the question you asked me, ranking her with
Can you put okay, I might have to change my language. Can you put her in the same conversation with Pele and Ronaldo?
I don't think we can.
Why?
We can't.
Why? You say you don't think you can. Why? I'm asking why.
Top striker, I think the gender issue will still come to play. Whether we like it or not, the gender issue will still come to play. When you ask yourself, okay,
no Brazilian has won the World Footballer of the Year 6 times.
True.
No Brazilian has scored.
She's joint highest goal scorer at the World Cup. True. But then I don't think you can just imagine the same way we talk about who's the greatest of all time, Pele, or and then we bring
why
in
is it
a
difficult
Mata.
to rank her there with them? To put her there with them? Why is it so difficult when she has won those things? Clearly, we saw that every year she does it. So
We're
why
talking
is it
about
hard?
we're talking about
Forget the gender issue right now.
We cannot forget it. That's the issue.
That is one thing we should forget, because she has done something that even the men cannot do.
If you I don't know if I should call you a Travinist. I don't know, but if you have your power, if you have your choice, can you put her in the same conversation with them?
No, I can't.
You can't.
No.
So Dorcas, you think otherwise?
Of course, I do think otherwise. For goodness' sake, if it were a lady, and when you come where I'm going to trade another path. If it were tennis, where a lady like Serena Williams had done something like won over, she has 24 Grand Slams right now. And it's 3 Grand Slams. I'm waiting for her 24th Grand Slam. Maybe if it comes, it comes. And Roger has won 20 so far. So for me, I would term her the best. Forget the whatever gender or the when I come competition in the women's play. She was there. She won it.
Competition.
And she's there.
In women's play.
For goodness sake, there was competition. One way or the other.
Please don't spoil this conversation now. With this tennis you are going to.
I am saying it is competitive. Whether you like it or not,
you cannot defend it as competitive.
It's a competition, so there's always going to be people to compete with her. But then so far, for me, I would put Mata with anybody played for. But for me, Mata has done. But she's 33 years old and she's still playing. So far for me, I will put.
Of course, Ronaldo went to 3 World Cups, though he didn't play in the 94 World Cup. I saw him at that World Cup on the bench all through. 98, Brazil lost in the finals to France. In 2002, they won in the finals against Germany. He was the top scorer at that World Cup. Pele attended 3 World Cups. He scored 12 goals, averaging a goal in. Say outrightly, you will not put Mata in the same conversation with Pele and Ronaldo.
No, I wouldn't. She'll come third.
She'll come third.
Exactly.
You would. And of course, still talking the World Cup, we're going to open the phone as one. The callers have to say this afternoon. You have dreamt of our entire life. Morgan told ESPN. Morgan's comments came after former Canada international Kaylin Kyle told in a Canadian TV show the United States teams, the USA teams rather, celebrations were disgraceful, in her words. As a Canadian, we would just never ever think of doing something like that. For me, it's disrespectful, it's disgraceful, Hats off to Thailand for holding their head high, according to Kyle. Thailand ranked 34th in the world, lost 9-0 in their previous meeting with the USA in the friendly in 2016, and we are playing in the finals for only the second time. Kyle's comments have sparked debate on social media, and she later revealed she had received death threats after her criticism of the three-time world champion. She said, "Everyone is allowed their opinions towards my thoughts, but please leave the death threats. I'm a big girl and love a debate, but there's no need for this in this already crazy world," she posted on Instagram. Morgan, who matched a record set by compatriot Michelle Akers by scoring 5 goals, said she was happy just ignoring the comments. "I think it's respectful if we don't show up and give our best and play our game for 90 minutes. Morgan added, "It's respectful to the Thai team, and I believe they wanted us to play them straight up. I'm going to celebrate Miles Pogue's goal. I'm going to celebrate Sam Mary's goal and Rose Level. This is their first World Cup, and I'm so proud of them. It's incredible for us all." Some people on social media also criticized the celebrations, and a hashtag Ugly Americans was created. United States captain Megan Rapinoe said her team had been overjoyed and setting the record, but insisted they did respect their opponents. She said, "We always want to have any world record, and anything we can get over the Germans, we will take it." Rapinoe said, "Obviously, we have the utmost respect for everyone we play, but it's the World Cup." Rapinoe, who celebrated her team's 9th goal by sliding to the ground before leaping into the arms of her teammates, told Fox Sports she understood the criticism in part. "If anyone wants to come at our team for not doing the right thing, not playing the right way, not being the right ambassador for the sport, they can come at us," she said. "I think our only crime was an explosion of joy. If our crime is joy, then we'll take that." Let me start with you, Victor. Is it a crime to celebrate scoring 13 goals
Not at
against
all.
an opponent, whether they are Today FM team up against Brazil, or I don't know? Is it a crime no matter the rank of the nation?
It isn't. I don't know why there's a big fuss, why there's a huge fuss about this. It's not a crime at all. And I totally understand when Morgan was speaking, because I watched that particular match and the goal just kept running and I was like, come on, just stop. But then they were better. Thailand had just one shot on target. Just one shot on target. That match would have been up to 20 goals if not for the heroic saves of the Thailand goalkeeper. But so when they came out and the Canadian women came out and they were talking about the fact that it was disrespectful, I kind of understand why they're saying so, because I mean,
what do you understand?
They're trying to say that, okay, when you score so much goals, I mean, there's no need for you to celebrate, but it doesn't make sense. There's no rule against it, and there is nothing. It shouldn't be causing a debate, because when you look at these girls, they said some of them, this is their first World Cup, and imagine getting a goal, whether you scored the 12th goal or the 13th goal, but this is your first goal in your first World Cup. Maybe not your first World Cup, but you're getting a goal in the World Cup. It's just like you said, it's an explosion of joy. And if joy is a crime, then they're willing to take the consequences. So I really don't buy into that concept that they shouldn't have celebrated. If they had scored 22 goals, let them celebrate it. They got the goal, they worked hard for it, and they got all 3 points. So I don't see the issue with this criticism.
Doctors, looking at the fact that some of these girls are making their debut at the World Cup, even if they have scored 26 goals, do you think it was disrespectful for them to celebrate?
Disrespectful? No, I wouldn't say disrespectful. I would just say it was just too much. Yes, I just believe it's too much.
The
goals
goals
were too much.
celebration.
Even after the last goal came in, I've forgotten the leader scored the last goal. She went up to the keeper because the keeper was like so devastated. She had to hug her for a while and spoke something into her
That's
ears.
Carly Lloyd.
Exactly. She said something to her.
Yeah.
She said, "You did some great saves. So pick your head up." So sometimes it could be devastating
she
for
said,
the players.
I don't even know if she understood English, but I have to tell her what I told her.
Sometimes it could be devastating for the opponents. You could see that maybe they wouldn't show us there, or that it could affect their psyche, going into the next game. Yes, we know that they were not that brilliant when it comes to the Thailand team. They were not brilliant at all in that particular game. They had one or two good passes, but moving forward, they were clueless on how to do that. So the Americans used that against them. But for me, I don't think it's disrespectful to celebrate. I just felt, even Alex Morgan, when she scored her first 4 goals, I think the third one she didn't even celebrate. She had to move to the center field and then just stood there. It was the 5th goal that she went so Sochis were crazy and she went to dance with her teammates and all. That was the only goal she had to celebrate that much. But so far 13 goals past the Thailand team. I felt sorry for them, but it's history making for the World Cup. So like I said, this World Cup is all about history. Every country seems to be making history so far, and I think it's cool. It's brilliant for every country to do that. But celebrating it is not disrespect. I just feel like it's going to affect the cycle of their opponents going into their next games.
She said probably it was too much. I don't know where she stands.
That exactly. I said the goals. I had to ask the goals of the celebration because
not celebration.
The goals.
The goals were just too much.
So they should have stopped at some point.
I felt okay. When I started seeing that game, it was
now
already.
Their flight ticket.
When I started seeing that game, it was already 8-0. I felt like okay, 8 is cool. No while I might just manage 8 to go
that's
out.
the issue. Just like I saw that game from the start. Now, halftime, but by the time when it got into the second half, at the point in time when there were 6 goals up, it looked like the United States of America, they did not want to score again, so they were just passing the ball.
And that was when the coach Ellis, even after they scored 7-8, she had to bring more attacking players to go score more goals. She brought in more attacking players.
Who knows? Maybe they get to the point where goal difference is going to determine who finishes top of the group. So score as much goals as possible, because the defense was just too porous. I mean, from where I was like, oh come on, if they make that pass, it's going to be a goal. And all of a sudden, they'll make the pass and it's a goal again. The defense was like pouring water in baskets. I know at the point in time, the United States of American side, they didn't want to score again. I think when it was 9-10-0, they didn't want to score again.
That was the point.
No,
Victor.
you see this.
Victor, I will not accept you saying they didn't want to score. For goodness sake, when they already scored their 8th goal, there was this lady they had to have one Casarino. She came in and she was on fire. That was when they were already 8 goals up. They were moving forward. They wanted to score. Alex Morgan did not take any chances. She moved forward to score goals. No, I am not going to.
I want to ask you a question though. This time next week, by God's grace,
yes,
Nigeria will play Burundi.
Yes.
So if Nigeria scores 15 goals or nothing, they should not celebrate.
Let me tell you this. We know the Super Eagles do not score more goals.
No, wait. Now, the USA have been the most successful team in the history of the World Cup.
Yes.
They've never scored 10 goals or 15 goals at the World Cup. So it takes one day to start it. What if you meet a porous Burundi side and Nigeria scores 6? Okay, what's his name? Samuel Chukwueze has a chance to score 5 goals in that match. You tell him to not score?
I am simply saying it's just too much. It's just too much for me. It's just too much.
So Victor,
I feel for those players.
I find nothing wrong. My only issue was with the Thailand. I don't even know how they made it to the World Cup, really, because
they were there.
I'm surprised because I feel like I could play better. I don't know. Because these guys,
you're a man.
They had one or two things, like I said. They were quite, their passes they are better passers when it comes to the Super Falcons. They do one or two passes very well.
Nigeria made that Thailand.
I said passes, I don't say goal scoring. They do one or two passes. I watched it. They tried their best. They did one or two passes. It was fine. But so far, I think they have a problem with their defense, and then moving forward to actually, be formidable when it comes to attacking. So far, that was why the United States ladies had to demolish them.
I said that we have to applaud the Thailand goalkeeper. This lady pulled out some heroic saves.
She saved more.
There were some saves I was like, wow.
So was it like
good?
Was it like the BTFM
I feel like
goalkeeper?
Exactly. I feel like she was the man of. She should have been the man of the woman
That
of the
considered 10
match.
and it was the man of the match.
Because this lady made some amazing saves. The problem with that team, every department in the team has a problem, but the goalkeeper was at her best.
But the good thing is, they say there's this proverb that says that if people no laugh you no go better, you no go do well. So probably this is a stepping stone for the Thailand ladies. Maybe they would go back.
They play tomorrow, right, or today?
They play today, I think. They play today. This is a
Group
Group
E.
See how they. Group E, yeah, I think Group E plays today.
No, they are not
And
playing.
Group F,
They are
right?
not playing today. They should be playing
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So far, I think it's a stepping stone for them. They are going to learn more. So that's the case.
And of course, for games that were played yesterday, Jamaica lost 5 goals to nothing to Italy yesterday. Japan defeated Scotland 2 goals to 1, while England defeated Argentina by a goal to nothing. England and Italy have qualified for the round of 16 of this World Cup. Jamaica, it seems They've come to be universal donors.
They are debutants. That's expected.
Reggae queens.
They are debutants. I didn't even when I heard the name Jamaica. I knew that they're not a footballing nation. We get that. So they are just trying as much as possible to venture into every other sports that they can get. And they did. They are here. So they are, like I said, it's an experience. They are going to experience things and maybe come back better the next tournament or so.
For the English ladies, they've been on the rise in recent times, doing great things. Players from Chelsea, Frank Kirby, players doing their thing, Manchester City and
Nikita
Arsenal.
Paris.
The rest of them, one of them from Chelsea will be going to Lyon, defending the European champions after this World Cup. Are you seeing them as one of the contenders for this World Cup?
Yes. I think I said it last week.
The She Believes Cup, they won it.
Yes, I said it last week that England. I put England ahead, and
Ahead of who?
ahead of other. When you asked last week, ahead of other teams to win the World Cup,
Your
you
favorite,
asked
one of your
about
favorites, yeah.
France. I said England is my favorite to win the World Cup, and I had to watch that match yesterday. I was so impressed. Of course, the Australians did the best they could to the Argentines. Sorry, they did the best they could to hold their defense, but then the England side, the three Lionesses, they just kept on hitting hard, and eventually they got to go. These girls play so well. And it's beyond scoring the goals. It's the mentality in the team, the way they play. I mean, when you watch them, you enjoy football. I was smiling yesterday as I was watching this. Someone saw me, I was like, "Is something wrong with you? You're watching female football." I said, "These girls are playing so well." The mentality in the team, the way they play is something dynamic about them, and I think with the way they're playing, and of course under the management of Phil Neville, they can go all out to the finals.
And of course, and today we'll see Netherlands talking about Holland up against Cameroon. That game comes up by 5 p.m. And of course, Canada will be up against New Zealand. That game comes up by 8 p.m. And some of the stats to expect from the matches today at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Netherlands and Cameroon are set for a first meeting. The Dutch have never previously faced African opposition at a World Cup. All three of Cameroon's World Cup defeats have been by a single goal margin. However, Cameroon were the last African side to beat a European side at the World Cup, defeating Switzerland 2-1 in 2015. You heard me right, Cameroon were the last African side to beat a European side at the World Cup, defeating Switzerland by 2-1 in 2015. It ended goalless when Canada and New Zealand met in the World Cup group stage in 2015. New Zealand and Canada, they meet again today. In 2015, it ended goalless, while Canada have never won their opening two World Cup matches. Canada have never won their opening two World Cup matches, but of course they beat Cameroon in the opening match they played. But they are unbeaten in their last 9 matches and have kept 8 clean sheets in that run. They are unbeaten in their last 9 matches and have kept 8 clean sheets in that run. Meanwhile, New Zealand are still looking for their first win at a World Cup. They are looking for their first win at the World Cup, talking about New Zealand. Quickly, Cameroon up against Netherlands, European Women's Champion. Do they have a chance, Cameroon? They lost their first game by a goal to nothing.
Cameroon, I do not see them. They play good football, but against the Dutch side, I do not think they would get a win in that particular one. But then, I watched a few games. The last game, that's Netherlands games. And then I feel the players were just too slow. I don't know why I feel that, but they were just too slow. Maybe Cameroon could capitalize on their slowness if they do not work on that.
What about the saying that your position you meet determine how you play?
Exactly what I'm saying. But then I've said if they can step up there, from what they played the last time, because I felt they were too slow, maybe they will get better of Cameroon. But then let's not take anything from Cameroon. They are, for me, one of the best sides in the World Cup when it comes to the African perspective. They're one of the best sides, but they haven't found a way to get the goals rushing in for them. So far, I think the Dutch side would win. Take the day.
The last African side to be the European team. They face a European team, not just an ordinary European team, Netherlands. Do they have the chances?
I don't think so. No, just like the doctor stated, no disrespect to Cameroon, but I don't think so. Going into the World Cup, the team that I thought would represent really well turned to be the South Africans, but then it looks like their chances of even qualifying for the round of 16, they've lost their first 2 matches. I don't know if they still have a possibility of going to the round of 16s in their last match. But then I think the Cameroonians, they can play well on their day. They really can do well on their day. But then I still feel the Netherlands women's side, the orange squad, they would actually edge them in that particular one.
So call the game, Cameroon, Netherlands.
Well, let me just play safe and say a draw.
A draw.
Yes.
Canada, New Zealand.
Canada,
2015 they met, it was goalless.
yes. Canada, New Zealand. Canada wins 1-0.
Docas, the 2 games.
Cameroon, Netherlands win 3-1, and Canada, New Zealand draw for me.
Draw for her right there. And of course, for some games will also go down tomorrow as well. Deliberately leaving the Super Falcons out of this because when the guys come in the evening, or perhaps tomorrow, we shall be talking about that one, the last game against France. The game will be played in Grenoble. And on Sunday, we'll see United States up against Chile, while Sweden will do battle with Thailand. When we come tomorrow, all things being equal, we shall be doing justice to that. I'm talking about that game tomorrow. Sweden up against Thailand and United States up against Chile. The games to expect tomorrow.
J Slick. Hey. She dey play ball low. Hey. And she dey score goal low. For my heart, you. And she dey give them colo. Hey.
Over now to the Copa America we go this afternoon, where Brazil were jeered by their own fans in their opening Copa America game against Bolivia despite winning 3-0. Barcelona forward Felipe Coutinho scored twice and Everton netted a superb third late on in Sao Paulo. Fans at the Morumbi Stadium, which was around 70% full, booed Brazil at the break after a goalless first half in the Group A match. Manager Tite said he expected a negative reaction from supporters after his team's lackluster performance. He said, "We felt it, young lads feel it, the coach feels it." Tite said, "We need to understand if we get forward and create chances, then they will applaud." Having been at the big clubs, when you sometimes don't produce, they don't expect the fans to understand. They will boo. When you pass the ball along the back, from fullback to central defender to goalkeeper, the first thing you hear is boo. Brazil, who are without PSG striker Neymar due to an ankle ligament injury, started with Firmino, Liverpool forward, and up front with Manchester City's Fernandinho in midfield. In the second Group A game, Peru will play Porto in Porto Alegre later tonight, while Brazil's next match is against Venezuela in Salvador. That game comes in up on Tuesday. And of course, we have 2 games today talking about Peru, Venezuela, and Argentina, Colombia. Let's start with the game yesterday, Brazil. The opening match against Bolivia, the fans were booing. No Neymar for them, but of course there was plenty of party for them. 3-0, despite the first half ending goalless, and the fans were booing them. Coutinho had to dig deep to get 2 goals for them.
Top striker, if I was in the stadium, I would have put them as well because I mean, the match came up by 1 a.m. and I stayed awake to watch it, and I was really disappointed. I had to go back to sleep after the first half because the first half was really lackluster. No chances created, very boring play, nothing like the Brazilians the Brazil side that we know of. And of course, when this fans started booing, I was not surprised at all. I was even shouting in my room like, "Yes, boo them," because they were not playing anything. They didn't create any chances. But then I woke up this morning and I saw 3-0, and I just wished I could have waited a little while longer. But then good one for the Brazilians. It's a great way to start. What is a really great way to start the Copa America. And let's just hope that in the absence of Neymar, they continue to build up. I looked at the Brazil squad and I was so impressed. The top striker, they have so many great players. Their squad depth is out of this world. So many great players, and of course, a good manager in Tite. Looking at the number of players that were there, I mean, I was awestruck. We talked about Roberto Firmino. We talked about Everton, who eventually got to go. Felipe Coutinho, Dani Alves, Thiago Silva. The names are endless, and of course, even with the absence of Neymar, you don't want to believe that this is going to pose any problem at all for the Brazilians because these guys are good. Let's hope that they eventually build up on the successes against Bolivia, but then the eyes of everyone will be on that match between Argentina and Colombia.
And of course, Dorcas, no Neymar, no worries. Hakuna Matata for them, no worries for them. Do you see Brazil going far in this tournament? No Neymar to do the paparazzi to inspire these guys and all the way, but of course, Coutinho is there, Firmino is there, Fernandinho is there. Can they hold their own to get into the finals?
Victor said they have a huge player debt. Their squad debt is out of this world. Let me use the exact word he used. we know this Brazilian side. They tend to play very good football, and they have lots of stars all over the world. If you want to put it that way, even in Brazil, they have their own league, and they take players mostly from that league, especially Flamingos. Let's put that from Flamingos. They have lots of great players as well for them so far. If they do not get to the finals or maybe finish top 10, top 3 in this particular competition, I would say it's a disappointing outing for the Brazilians. Because everybody.
You call top 3 because you're not a Brazilian. They want them to go and win.
Exactly. I said if they do not win or finish, if they do not win, let them see top 3 now. That is the point. But if they do not see any of that, for me, even a third place is disappointing for me to get to see them, because the squad they have, the squad they showcased in this particular game against Bolivia, possession, everything was in the favor of the Brazilian side. But I think the Bolivians came out to just defend, hold their back line, suck out the blood from the Brazilians, and if possible, leave it just goalless, or maybe getting a 1-1 draw. But the Brazilians came back. Yes, the first one was a penalty that Coutinho had to convert, and then he came back again and scored again. And Suarez had to come and give them the third goal. So if they can find your rhythm, because we know they do have the rhythm for players like that, I think they would go so far in this tournament.
And of course, Victor, Colombia, Brazil. Call all the stars. Colombia, Argentina later tonight. Call all the stars. James Rodriguez is there. They can call on the likes of Radamel Falcao as well. Going to Argentina, I have Messi, captain of the side, Sergio Kun Aguero. Of course, no Gonzalo Higuain anymore. People say if not for Higuain, Messi would have won a lot of trophies. That's an aside. But of course, what do you expect? These two guys, they play good amount of football, talking about Argentina and Colombia. Should you expect it to be an easy ride for the Argentines against the Colombians?
I think it's not going to be easy for the Argentines. Earlier this week, Sergio Kun Aguero came out to say that the Argentines are ready to give it all they can, only for Messi. That they will do it for Messi. That this guy, he needs to win a trophy with the national team, and it looks like this is their only shot. Messi is not getting any younger. This might just be his only shot to get a trophy with his national team, and of course, with the quality of players that they have in the squad. You talk about Lionel Messi, Nicolas Otamendi, Angel Di Maria. Great squad you got to say the Argentines have compared to the Colombians. When you look at, fine, they have some great players, James Rodriguez, they have Radamel Falcao, but these guys have, over time, towards the tail end of last season, they were not as consistent and as brilliant as they were at the start of the season. David Ospina is also the goalkeeper for Colombia, but then you ask yourself how... I don't really know what to say, but then I think it's going to be it's going to be a tough match, but eventually the Argentines will edge out the Colombians.
You still have Chile, you have Uruguay, you have Paraguay, or Ecuador, all on the mix for the Copa America. So let me start with you. Pick your 3 favorites for the trophy.
Argentina, Brazil, and Chile.
Argentina, Brazil, and Chile. Chile with the keyboard man still there. Sanchez. Okay. Doka?
Paraguay's first game is against Qatar. Yes, they definitely win that one for me. Brazil, I have to call them first. Argentina and Uruguay.
Brazil,
Argentina
and Uruguay. Okay, let's wait and see where this one goes. Right there, Copa America. It got underway last night.
No ball without you. You bust mouth, oh, I say you get mouth. All to know, you should be ever to know. And Tottenham, she de Totorini, oh. Play ball, play ball. From my heart to you, from my heart. She de score goal, score goal. From my heart to you, she de give them colo. Hey, she de dribble them, dribble them. Hey, hey. I'm on a red card, oh, the red card.
And of course, that's the Copa America right there. Got on the way last night. Brazil won 3-0. Argentina takes to the pitch later today. And of course, let's go through the phones and hear what the callers have to say before we go to European football this afternoon. We mentioned Mata. And of course, joint top scorer ever in the history of the World Cup. 16 goals she has scored. Is it justified? Is it safe to mention her in the same statement with Edson Arantes do Nascimento, the one we love to call Pele, and the real Ronaldo, Luis Ronaldo Nazario de Lima? Of course, the words of Jose Mourinho is the real Ronaldo. Do you think she's done enough to be mentioned in the same sentence with them? Or do you think some people feel no matter what she has done, you cannot put her in the same sentence with Pele and Ronaldo. Has she done enough? She's the all-time Brazilian scorer at the World Cup, male or female. Fifth World Cup, the first woman to score, male or female, to score in 5 consecutive World Cup. Is it justified? Is it safe to put her in the same sentence with Ronaldo and Pele? Talking about Marta, who has won the World Cup, Women of the Year award on 6 different occasions. 0817 00951 and 0810 Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all there.
Sir West, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. You cannot compare Pele to all those people.
We are not comparing. We say, can we put them in the same sentence? We're looking at what she has done.
Yes, that's what we are comparing now. We are looking at what they've done. So we are comparing. So why I said so, if you watch Pele, most of his tape, when he was training, there were no kind of protection for strikers. Before you enter it, you see a lot of boxing, a lot of who knows what they are doing there, whether they are holding their private this, nobody knows. But you see him muzzle his way to score some goals. And he's incredible. When you watch him, the way he penetrates to score those goals, so it's something that he took a lot of determination. But this time around, players, mostly fighters, are being protected. In the 18-yard box, how you foul them, it will be a penalty. Those days, I just have some of the collection. I used to watch it. I say, oh, Pele is a great player, honestly. So nobody, even Maradona, cannot fit in the shoe. That's my opinion anyway.
Okay, thank you so much. I said that West refused. You cannot put Mata and Pele in the same sentence. According to him, you cannot put Pele and any other player in the same conversation. Of course, Mata is a joint all-time scorer in the history of the World Cup, male or female, joint with Miroslav Klose on 16. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
This is Naimeri calling from London.
Naimeri, welcome to the program.
As of Martha, yes, she's good. You can add her, but at the same time, we have to know that is female football. We have not the defense, and if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about.
What is wrong with the defense?
Are you watching the Women's World Cup recently?
Why not? I'm watching them. See, you cannot compare the female bones with the male bones. She's good. Martha is good. I watched the 3-2 defeat they lost against Australia. She was compare her. Yes. I think you cannot compare her. But you can put her in the same statement. But not for comparison.
Okay, thank you so much. Unai Emery from London says you cannot compare them, but of course, to him, you can put them in the same conversation. Keep the calls coming through. Copa America got underway last night right there in Brazil. And of course, Brazil got off to a bright start. They won 3-0 against Bolivia. Argentina take to the pitch tonight against Colombia. Do they have a chance, at least Messi, to win his first trophy for the Argentine national team? Keep the calls coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Yeah, Coach Arsenal calling from Okeka.
Coach Arsenal, welcome to the program.
For the girl, I think the young woman Martha, I think she deserves to be mentioned about the top players in the World Cup, because my own argument is that the football is FIFA. FIFA organize it. It's also World Cup. It's not a different game. And what the woman has done, I think, even for me, I cannot even coach a female football. A female team. I cannot. I have been offered that job twice. I cannot do it because it's not easy to come to that level and now play, to give the rhythm of the football, give idea, play if I run with the ball. Talking of the score goals as a young as a woman, I think you should record her among those top great World Cup players. So far it's World Cup, so far it's FIFA, she's among them. Then for the issue of Argentina, I always correct it. When people say Messi has never won something with Argentina national team, he has never won something with the Argentina main national team. Not Argentina, he has won something with Argentina.
We talked about the senior male national team. That's the question.
Yeah, man, there was not analyzing it that way. So I want to put it through.
Probably he didn't get what he said. When we talk about Argentina, we are talking about the national team. That's what we are talking about. You don't open at the sleep when they take notes, they sleep when they night. One wake up in a up, open they never talk.
For Messi, I think Messi will do that. They are going to do it this time because we know that there's a lot of things at stake. Everybody's counting on. I will be staying by 11 o'clock to watch that match, and I will give you all the best. Then for the I feel we are not okay. Let's talk when you come to the local advocate again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Arsenal. Keep the calls coming through. Let's get to hear from you this afternoon. Copa America got off yesterday. Brazil won their first game against Bolivia, 3-0. Argentina will be up against Colombia later tonight. Who are your favorites for the Copa America? And of course, Kun Aguero and the rest of them are pledging to give their all to making sure that Lionel Messi gets at least one of trophy for the national team right there. And of course, we told you about the FIFA Women's World Cup, where Mata is now 16 goals at the World Cup, joint with Miroslav Klose. Can you put that in the same sentence with Ronaldo and Pele? Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Talk to that.
Good afternoon. Your name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Albert. I'm calling from Potatoes.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about Mata. Mata, she has done very well on her own part. Because, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to score goals in that kind of stage. You understand? She has done well. But for me, I think our rank can be third in Brazil because Pele should be the number one. Because you know that Pele fish up for 3 World Cups and won 2. So Ronaldo didn't my fish up for 4 World Cups and they just won 1. So for Mata, but she has not won the World Cup. But it doesn't mean that she's not bad. She's good. She's one of the best in Brazil. Maybe I could rate her third among the 3, but she's good.
Okay.
So that level is not easy for you to get to that level and you perform up to that level. Because some of those main players, they cannot score single goal at the World Cup. So nobody should take her for granted. She's a better player. So I've never seen any female player that is better than Mata. For somebody that get to that level and won the FIFA Player of the Year for 6 times, not a fluke. So she deserves to be in that
conversation.
Brazil.
Okay.
She's good to be there. Nobody should take her for granted.
Okay. Thank you so much. He thinks that Mata has done enough to be in the same conversation with the likes of Pele, Edson Arantes, Nascimento, and of course Luis Nazario de Lima. Of course, we're talking about the real Ronaldo right there. Even though he's going to place him or place her third on the pecking order after Pele and Ronaldo. Where do you place Mata? Where do you rank her? Is it safe? Can you put her in the same conversation with Pele and Ronaldo? Looking at what she has achieved, she's the greatest Brazilian scorer at the World Cup, male or female. 16 goals she scored at the World Cup, joint with the all-time greatest scorer at the World Cup, Miroslav Klose of Germany. And of course, she's won the World Player of the Year on 6 different occasions. She becomes the first player, male or female, to score in 5 consecutive World Cups. No male or female can boast of that record. Keep the calls coming through. Let's get to hear from you this afternoon. Women's World Cup currently on as we speak at the moment. And of course, people are criticizing the USA for scoring 13 goals against Thailand. According to them, it was disrespectful and disgraceful. Do you think it was wrong for a team to celebrate if they score 13 goals against an opponent, if they score 16 or 20 goals against an opponent? Is it any form of disrespect or disgrace? Let's hear from you this afternoon. And of course, Copa America got underway last night. Brazil got off to a bright start against their opponent Bolivia, despite their fans not being happy with their performance. Argentina up against Colombia tonight. Keep the calls coming through. 0817 0000951 and 0810 951 0817 0000951 and 0810 951. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Eddie calling from.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think for the years against Thailand, I don't see anything bad in them celebrating their goals. And if you look very well into that team, they have some new players. They have players who this World Cup at their first and I don't see anything bad against celebrating their 13 goals. Then for Messi, everybody is saying they're going to put in their best for Messi to win at least one national trophy for his country. Is that going to put more effort for him to win something? And let me tell you, if Chile don't win it again this year, I think Japan should just win it.
If Chile does not win it, who will win it?
Qatar. I think they are included in this one.
Yes, they invited them, yes.
Yes, if Chile don't win it, I think Qatar or Japan. Messi not winning anything.
Okay, thank you so much. He thinks if Chile does not win it, it's going to be for Qatar or Japan right
that would
there.
be trouble right
I
there.
don't think Qatar can go all the way to win the Copa America. Yes, they did very well in the Asian Cup where they had to win it, but going to South America to play against the likes of Uruguay, Paraguay, I don't think. But maybe Japan. Yes, I'll give Japan a chance.
She will give Japan a chance. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. The couple calling from Port Harcourt.
The Capone, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, quickly, if you can put the female football in the same sentence with of male, then why not you can put Mata on the same sentence with that of Pele?
Okay, thank you. Short and brief right there. I think if you can put female football and male football in the same sentence, he thinks you can also put Mata in the same sentence with Pele and Ronaldo. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
My name is William, calling from Port Harcourt.
William, welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
You cannot compare Mata to Delima, Ronaldo, or Pele.
Why?
You cannot put them in the same shoe.
Why?
For me. Because when you look at the World Cup that they played, the difference is too much. He played that many World Cup 5, Delima played 4, Pele played 3. And in men's football is very hard more than female football. So you cannot compare them.
Okay, I get your point. Thank you so much. Right there, he thinks you cannot put both of them in the same conversation because he feels there's a big difference between women football and male football, and of course on that perimeter he feels you cannot compare. Not really compare. That's why I was trying to choose the word carefully. Can you mention them in the same conversation? That she has achieved a lot to be discussed in the same vein, just like Pele and Ronaldo. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Jerry, calling from Port Harcourt.
Jerry, welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Please, I want to ask if the South Africa is out of this competition.
No, they are not. They have 3 points already. They need a draw in their last match or an outright victory against France to qualify.
Okay, they are going to play against France.
They are playing France on Monday night, 8 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Right there, inquiry about the Super Falcons and the next game. Nigeria has 3 points. And of course, with minus 1 goal, haven't considered 3 against Norway and they scored 2 against South Korea. And of course, keep the calls coming through. Let's get to hear from you this afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
I'm calling again, William. Sorry.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah, welcome.
Let's hear from you.
Lionel Messi, side of Lionel Messi, let him don't win anything. No. Let him remain like that. We are going to sign him 3 times. 3. Lost the World Cup, lost Copa America twice to Chile. They want to come and win something again. Let him remain like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. That's his opinion. You can equally send messages on Twitter at Emmanuel9001 at Emmanuel90001. You can equally copy at Today FM 951 at Today FM 951 or at Emmanuel90001. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
This is Walter. I'm calling from about.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you, Walter.
Yes, I want to talk about Super Falcons.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about Super Falcons and Super Eagles.
Go ahead, quickly.
For me, Super Falcons, I don't know what is happening for them. So this is World Cup. They should try. But I don't think that I don't winning France. But if they can try and get the draw, our NFA or NFF, all the Nigerians should go to Thanksgiving tomorrow. Because if you draw France, it's just like you are winning it's just like you are topping the group. So for our Falcons to draw France, it's not fair. It's a long thing. So if you don't help, we draw France. We should go to church. All the fans, all the Nigerian fans should go to church tomorrow. So for our Super Eagles, hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
For concerning our Super Eagles, they will try. They will try. And this weekend is there because half of the team is a team that leads to World Cup 2018. So I'm not listening to Moses there. If not, only that my own opinion. But on the process, we tell the committee, they will go ahead. The match against Argentina, which they play, if you can play like that in African nations, I pray we should reach final. That's my own position.
Okay, thank you so much. I get your take on that right there. Keep the course coming through. Let's get to hear from you. Of course, the game between Cameroon and Netherlands is currently on as we speak. It's the 9th minute already, and it's still goalless. Netherlands up against Cameroon at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Hello, good afternoon.
So, not right.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I think what FIFA should do after each World Cup, they select the best, maybe 18 and from male and female, let them play themselves. Because people are trying to compare women football and men. They are not equal at all. No? We are not disrespecting the ladies. But you can, physically, they cannot play with men. I'm telling you. So why we are commending them because the women football is rising, you don't have to start comparing with men football at all. Even the world male team can beat the first 11 of world champion of ladies. They silly, beat them silly. So women football is rising, but they are not up to start comparing them with the men and so on. My brother, you know what it means to score goal in a World Cup? No? Tactically and physically. By the time Bobby has sent to the 18, my brother, those defenders, looks like they are doing a special training to to counter your movement. Only the lead they will give you on your shoulder, you will just fall down. So you can't compare it with women football at all. And for Messi, I think he has won all he has to win in club champion. I don't see him winning any cup before he retires from the international squad. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Celebrate for your time on the show. Keep the calls coming through for SMS and WhatsApp. We're trying to get that line up right at the moment, but right now you can send messages on Twitter. Copy at Emmanuel 90001, at Emmanuel 90001, or at Today FM 951. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. It's Jerry once again.
Jerry, welcome back. Let's hear from you.
Please, this one is going to Manchester United. I want to know if Anthony Griezmann is totally official signed by Manchester United.
He has not been signed by Man United. We're not talking European football now, but right now he has not been signed by Man United.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to the European scene to talk football. Still talking football this afternoon. And of course, Chelsea would have to pay Derby County around £4 million in compensation if they appoint club legend Frank Lampard as the new manager, with current boss Maurizio Sarri set to be confirmed as Mark Allegri's replacement. At Juventus, Lampard is the overwhelming favourite to take over. However, BBC Sport understands Chelsea are yet to make contact with the Rams. Lampard won 11 major honours in his 13 years as a player at Stamford Bridge. A deal between the Blues and Serie A champions Juventus was agreed in principle on Thursday, with the Italian club expected to have to pay in excess of £5 million in compensation to secure Sarri. The Italian, who has spent just one season at Stamford Bridge after arriving from Napoli in 2018, July, won his first trophy as manager when he guided Chelsea to Europa League victory over Arsenal last month. Derby have a good relationship with Chelsea, who loaned them Mason Mount and Fikayo Tomori last season, and anticipate if negotiations do take place, they will be done so in relaxed atmosphere. However, as with all their coaching staff, there is no compensation clause built into Lampard's contract, which has 2 years to run. And of course, let's run through Frank Lampard's credentials for you. And of course, Lampard, who is 40, is the fourth on Chelsea's all-time appearance chart with 648 appearances. He's fourth on Chelsea's all-time appearance list with 648 appearances. He won 3 Premier League titles and the Champions League, and is Chelsea's all-time record goal scorer with 211 goals. Lampard has spoken previously about his desire to manage Chelsea. However, there are senior figures at both Stamford Bridge and Pride Park who wonder if now is the right time, given Lampard has only 1 year of management experience, during which time he was beaten in the Championship playoff final by Aston Villa. Also, if he does go to Chelsea, he would be taking on a squad that has just lost its best player in Eden Hazard, and unless the situation changes, will not be able to sign players for another 12 months. Derby's players are due to return for preseason training on July the 1st, although it is expected Lampard's position will have been clarified by then. While former Chelsea striker DJ Drogba, who is also nicknamed the King of Stamford Bridge, has given his endorsement to former teammate Frank Lampard to manage his old club. After playing alongside Lampard for years, Drogba believes his success at Derby shows he's ready to manage a club where they both made their names. He says, I think it is a very good option for the club. Drogba said at Stamford Bridge, he has done well for Derby, taking the team to the playoff final, and I think it is a very good option for the club. Let me start with you, Victor. Frank Lampard going to Chelsea. Is he ready for the job? Is it the right time for him to to take this job?
That's right. I was having a discussion with a friend just last week, and I said that we've seen so many situations where you have small managers, big club. Frank Lampard is not ready. Despite what he did at Derby County, yes, they almost made it to the back to the Premier League. It had to be that Aston Villa actually stopped them in the final day of the playoffs. But then, I don't think Frank Lampard is ready. I don't think he's ready. Yes, he has proven himself to be a great player. Yes, he understands the philosophy of Chelsea. He spent a lot of time in Chelsea, and of course, he's one of arguably a legend at the Stamford Bridge right there. But I don't think he's ready. I think he needs to gather some more experience. We look at Xavi. Xavi now is coaching a Qatari club outside. Gather more experiences. This is he just spent one season with the Rams, talking about Derby County, and now you want to move over to Chelsea. I don't think Frank Lampard is ready. And when I had this discussion with my friend asked me, okay, so what would you suggest? And I'm going to say right here, a Gianfranco Zola. I don't want to go far and say bring in someone. Gianfranco Zola has worked. He has worked with Chelsea for a while now, and he is actually while Sarri was the last season, he was the assistant manager. If Gianfranco Zola becomes the manager of Chelsea, maybe they'll do the interim and not full time. Maybe bring Frank Lampard in as the assistant manager. Frank Lampard still has a lot to learn. He has a lot to learn. The Championship is an entirely different pedestal to the Premier League. He should know that, of course. And fine, he played against the Derby County, played against Chelsea in the FA Cup thereabout, but then they won them. He knows, of course, that the way football is being played at the Championship is not the way. There's some things that you do and get away with it in the Championship. You can't do that in the Premier League. I think Frank Lampard he needs more experiences. Maybe 2 years more experience, rather 2 years thereabout, and then he can come back for the job. If not, you're just going to have a situation where a small manager and a big club.
Dorcas, where do you find yourself in this conversation? Frank Lampard, the service small manager actually needs an opening for him to become a big manager.
He should have qualified Derby.
Frank Lampard going back to Chelsea. People are giving credence. The Drogba is talking because there is a discussion somewhere that Lampard might have to bring him on board as well. So do you think it's going to be a right move? Looking at the fact that Chelsea might not have their transfer ban lifted, might not. Does Lampard have what it takes to steer this team through the Premier League next season should he get the job?
Because of that might ban that you just spoke about, that's the reason why I think he shouldn't take the job. If there was money, maybe they had the transfer window for them to get players in, maybe I would consider for him to go to Chelsea, but not this time when we are putting might on this transfer ban that FIFA and is giving to them and all that. For me, I would want to agree with Victor. First things first, we know Chelsea fans are so impatient. Chelsea board, even the owner manager Abramovich is a very how would I put it? He's not a patient man. Chelsea are a club that wins at least one trophy every season. If Frank Lampard comes in, yes, they are shouting his name right now to come coach Chelsea. Yeah, he's a legend, he's a former, he's a this, he's a that. He comes in and
he turns to Ole.
Exactly. All hell will break loose on this man. Said, I do not want to embarrass him. That's why I'm simply telling him, please stay where you've done quite well with Derby County. I want him to stay there. He did very well. He won Manchester United in the FA Cup. He won Chelsea as well. For me, that is something that his CV would have later, not now.
Did they beat Chelsea?
They won Manchester United in the FA Cup. In the FA Cup, I think he went to extra time.
They defeated Man United.
Yeah, they defeated Manchester United.
I think Chelsea knocked them out.
So I personally do think it's a good CV so far for me, but he shouldn't rush it. Take your time. It's your first season as a manager. Take your time. learn on the job, see how far you can go. If you're going to Chelsea, he understands Chelsea very well. They don't have this patience, even for players.
But what with the case of this transfer issue? What if Chelsea say, okay, we're not going to judge him
Story
by his first season? They can be that is a
The
possibility.
fans will-
this is the Chelsea we know.
No, there's a different case. There's a different scenario right now.
True.
There's a ban, so that means you're going to work with the players that you have, and you're going to call the players back on loan. So probably, what if they say, okay, we're not going to judge you by, because which big manager is the next question? Which big manager want to come to Chelsea and work when there's a transfer ban that might not allow you buy players?
Toshaka, that's why I said Gianfranco Zola. Why? Because Zola knows the team. So now, if we're bringing in any manager, every manager wants to, okay, he knows that, okay, this is the person I think I like this guy's style of play. But Zola already knows the team. Zola already knows those players that have been on loan. He has been working with Chelsea for a while now. He understands these guys. He knows the guys that have been on loan. He knows what they can do. He sees them in training. He is familiar with them. So if Chelsea, if they're not able to lift up that transfer ban, I'm still saying Zola should take the job. Get maybe, if, as like I said, on interim basis until they see that, okay, Zola is not doing anything. But I think he should be given a chance, because it's very difficult for you to see a manager that would want to come to Chelsea at the moment. I can't blame Frank Lampard. It's very enticing. You can't tell me a club like Chelsea is calling you and you wouldn't want to come. It's a gamble. But then, I don't think the gamble is worth it for Frank Lampard right now.
I think Franco Zola is a good person, a good assistant manager. I haven't seen him, coach or anything, but yes, assistant, he's good. But for me, when it comes to bringing in those other fresh legs that, are sent on loan and all that, I think Frank Lampard can manage that. If they're going to give him that option of, okay, your first season we'll do is to judge you until maybe we'll leave this transfer ban. I think he did very well with that, or doing that with the players while coaching Derby County. He did that very well. He had this rapport, one-on-one rapport, like the elder brother figure for the players, even if most of them are quite older than he is, but most of them are maybe the same age with him. But he managed to create that understanding with these players. And I think he can do that if they're going to bring those players on loan. We know most of them are maybe 22, 23, 24, thereabouts. So, I mean the players, their age range right now. So for me, I think he can work perfectly with that. But I think they should stick with what they have right now. Franco Zola would be a perfect fit for them.
Now, who understands the Chelsea philosophy better? Zola or Lampard? Zola did not play in the Abramovich era.
You think?
He didn't play. Lampard played in the Abramovich era. He knows what.
Lampard is not coming as a player.
We know. So as a manager, he was there as a player. He knows what was at stake for every manager that comes into Chelsea. In fact, they were if I can use the word, they were the mafia in the team. Himself, and John Terry, and Gigi Drogba, and Ashley Cole. They were the principalities behind. They were the principalities behind the wall. Now, who understands the philosophy of Chelsea better? Like I said earlier, Zola did not play under the Abramovich era. So wherever the era he played in, that was when the likes of Ken Bates were still there. Does he know the philosophy Abramovich has? Yes, he has worked as an assistant manager, but as someone who has been a part and parcel of the system when the takeover was completed in 2003 under Claudio Ranieri, Mourinho came. He has seen every manager that has come. He's had an influence in every manager from
Ancelotti,
Felipe Scolari, to mention a few of his other managers, AVB and the rest of them. So who, with all these few points of mine, who does the odds favor to succeed?
It favors Frank Lampard. It favors Frank Lampard. Yes, Lampard understands the philosophy of Chelsea. He's a Chelsea
under
legend,
the
Abramovich era. But then he understands the philosophy as a player. Zola has worked now with the management, so Zola understands the philosophy, no doubt about it. But then, who understands it more? I would say Frank Lampard.
Okay, you are trying to say Zola has worked with a manager.
Yes.
A manager who was stubborn to change his philosophy when things were not going his way.
See, I think
no, you have to look at everything from every side. Let me get what she was saying. You have to look at the odds from every aspect of the dice.
Victor took that right out of my mouth when he said, when it comes to the coaching part of it, Frank Ozula has gained experience. Yes, it was under Sarri. You are bringing on the point where you were saying Sarri was a stubborn man who could not change who doesn't want to change his philosophy. But the thing is this, he was an assistant coach. Just because he was an assistant coach doesn't mean he agreed with Sarri on everything. That's another point we should take from that. Because he's an assistant coach, I could tell you something and you would say, no, leave that one. My own must stand. It's just like that. So for me, I do think that he understands his management better. He has seen it, even for the fact that he is not, Abramovich is not in the country, right now. He's always there in Russia, one way or the other.
He has the people who run the
exactly.
affairs.
So he understands this. Even when the man is not there, the pressure on the coach that okay, you must deliver. We could see Sarri, the first few games he played, he did well. And when things went south, you could see everybody vibrating. Even Zola himself, we could see him taking press conferences when even Sarri doesn't want to come up for press conferences as well.
Take into cognizance that Lampard was an influential figure under every manager. Okay, except maybe for Claudio Ranieri, because he was still a young boy growing up then. Now you have Jose Mourinho, you have Avram Grant, you have Andres Villas-Boas, you have Felipe Scolari, you have Carlo Ancelotti. You have to keep mentioning these names over and over and over and over again. Of course, Rafa Benitez also was there at some point. Di Matteo was there. 9 managers have come under the Abramovich era. 9. He has been an influential figure. Antonio Conte also at some he didn't play under Antonio Conte, Lampard. So, with all these things put in place, don't you think the odds also favors him? Like I said, the management who are employing him will also consider the fact that there is a ban. So this man is limited from getting players. Chelsea has about 42 players out on loan.
Why I will still stick with Zola is because Lampard has not yet understood the pressure to coach a big side like Chelsea.
Has Jean-Paul Zola understood the pressure?
He saw it as an assistant coach with Sarri. So for me, Zola is still the perfect choice.
For you?
For me.
Victor?
I said defense.
Okay. Zola.
I still stick with Zola, but then, just like you stated, when you bring all this into cognizance, you want to say Frank Lampard seems to be more favorable. But for the fact, considering my main issue is the fact that we have a transfer ban. Chelsea has a transfer ban, and bringing in a manager at this point in time, the manager would need to understand the current crop of players and how to work with them. I think Zola could be, for the sake of that transfer ban. If there was no transfer ban, maybe give Frank Lampard a shot. If they can do well to lift the transfer ban before the end of the transfer window, then I think they should give Frank Lampard.
And of course, time to go to the phone and hear what the callers have to say. Frank Lampard, Gianfranco Zola, and of course, rumors have it that Chelsea are nearing a deal to bring Frank Lampard back. So the question is, who is more favorable to succeed at Chelsea? Looking at the transfer ban still looming around, Gianfranco Zola or Frank Lampard. Do you have any other candidates in mind? Let's get to hear from you. Keep the calls coming through. 0817 00951. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Silence caller. Hello, good afternoon. We lost that call. Do have to call us back. 0817 00951 and 0810 9510951. 0817 00951 and 0810 9510951. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Striker.
Center West.
When you want to talk about the two coaches, you look at their personal attributes, their life, pattern. So it has everything to do with also coaching. The attitudinal character shows in every job you are doing. You see, Zola is a highly temperamental. People who don't know him are following for long time. Highly temperamental. So when the pressure will be on him, because he's an assistant coach, you have in Chelsea, so we don't see him much, unless in press conference when the other young man who cannot speak English very well, then Zola will just come and interpret and assist him on the. But when you are on top, the pressure is on you. You are in charge. I think Francisco Zola cannot manage Chelsea at all. Lampard will be better. I think that Italian connection, I think they want to do away with it. And they stick to, British. I think that is one of the things they are considering, knowing that they are not going to likely buy players to execute this incoming deal. So I think Lampard is who knows yes, either out. He can manage Chelsea. It depends on what they want. They are not going for the big time, so maybe if he can manage to keep us on a first third or maybe Europa Cup, so that the next season we give to see how they can come up. So I think Zola does not fit to manage Chelsea for now.
Okay, thank you so much. West feels and Zola does not fit the bill to manage Chelsea right now. He talks about the Italian connection. I talk about Antonio Conte, talking about Maurizio Sarri, and right now, Zola, should he get it? Of course, not forgetting at some point there used to be a certain Carlo Ancelotti. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Well, we can barely hear what you're saying. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
I'm calling from Umusi, Port Harcourt.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
I'm IK on the line. So I think Frank Lampard is okay. Guardiola, how old was he when he took over as Barcelona coach? Can you recall?
It was in his 30s or so, late 30s. That was in 2009. We'll confirm that. Late 30s, early 40s, yeah.
Just help me confirm. And to me, I think Frank Lampard should be okay for the position.
Are you talking because of the age or something?
No, not just that. With the I think Lampard was signed. Was it 2009 or what? When
Lampard?
He knows the in and out of Chelsea. I think he's okay. He'll feed the shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, Pep Guardiola took that job in 2009. I haven't been the youth coach of the youth team because a full-time job was given to him in 2009 right there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys.
Simon, welcome to the program.
Thank you. As for me, if I happen to meet Lampard, I will advise him to wait first. I know that he's still going to kill Chelsea, even if he doesn't kill Chelsea now. When they talk of Guardiola has been a youth team coach in Barcelona, understood their philosophy. It's true, Lampard plays as a player, but he hasn't coached as even if an assistant coach. Benitez Vidal has been an assistant coach in Real Madrid before he took over. After they fired, I think, Benitez, they started with interim before they make him their manager. So, Frank Lampard, I will advise him, even he want to go to Chelsea now, he should wait. When they appoint any coach, then he cannot go there as an assistant manager. Or even if he doesn't want to go there as an assistant manager, let him wait first. Now. Start learning from small club first. Before I know he's going to coach Chelsea. That is the advice that I want to give him. Let them manage with Zola now. I don't know whether Zola is a good coach or not. I've not even seen any, but because of what is on board now, let them manage Zola. Or they should go for another fresh coach. If they transfer, they should go to another fresh coach. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
Coach. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon from Rumo Jumaya. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Coach Asna. Once again on the line.
Coach Asna, welcome back.
Before, I don't even answer this question now, but let's answer. I want to know the reason why Asian continent in Copa America. Later, we can answer me. Then let me go to issue of Chelsea. I think everybody saw what happened to Henry. When Henry was in Belgium and everybody was saying, oh, this guy can coach Arsenal, so should go Henry. I will not test him in Monaco, where I started coaching. I will saw what happened there. For me, I know Lampard can absorb all the pressure that he takes because he has been playing under all the coaches. I don't think there's any coach in Chelsea that does not have any heat pressure in that club. No coach in Chelsea that does not have any pressure. So Lampard being a very integral part of that team or that games that they play under those coaches, understand the pressure the coaches were passing from the player, from the management. He may get it right. He may have the onions to coach the club. But the reason why I'm saying that he should not go there at the moment is because he just started manager skills just for 2 years or so. So he would be under pressure because number one, the Chelsea fans are not eager to wait. The management are not eager to wait. The owner of the club are not eager to wait. They want to get the result. And if the tactics does not go to the way they want, or the training surface is not good for them, they will criticize him. And I think again, one thing I want to support him is because of British press. They would like to hype him a lot for him to take the job as a British man. But they are not doing the best. We should advise him to stay out and watch at the side. After the transfer, after the ban, then he can now come and take over the court. Then by then he have a lot of players to sign that can listen to him. Because now he's going to inherit players that he was not the one that brought them. So I don't know how he will control the dressing room. And I don't know what he's going to teach out to them for him to play, for him to make sure that the whole world seen as a good coach. So it will be difficult for him to manage that slave. Let him just be patient and wait for his time to come. So what happened to Thierry will not happen to him. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Arsenal. He thinks that he should wait. Frank Lampard should wait and not be in a hurry to accept the job right there at Chelsea. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Mike from Bumudara.
Mike, welcome. Let's hear from you.
I think there's no better time for Lampard. I think it's now. There's no pressure in Chelsea. I don't think they're expecting him to win the Premiership next season. So there's no better time for him to now grab a big opportunity to really get more experience in his career. The big man in Chelsea, Hazard is gone. And they expect him to just manage the team. So I think it's a better time for him to now put his career on the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. He thinks there's no better time for Lampard to become the coach of Chelsea than now. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Okay, I'm Evangelist Kelechi.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, the advice I have for John Terry is let him wait.
Not John Terry, Frank Lampard.
Okay, Frank Lampard. If he jump into coaching now, he will mess himself up.
He's already the coach of Derby County.
Yeah, I know. If he accept the Chelsea job now, what happens to Henry will happen to him. Let him wait. At least go for assistant coach for Chelsea, understand everything, every terrain. Then in the next 1 or 2 seasons, he can handle the job and he will make it. But if he jump into that job now, people are going to hate him because he's not going to perform any miracle now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, we lost that call. You have to call us back if you can this afternoon. Keep the calls coming through. Do you think this is the right time for Frank Lampard to accept the job at Chelsea to become their first-time manager, a full-time manager? Or of course, people say he should wait to become an assistant at some point before he takes over that job. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah. Just like I called back again, Albert.
Okay, welcome back.
Yeah, for me, I think the best way for Frank Lampard, what Chelsea is supposed to do is that he should go to Chelsea as understudy manager.
Okay.
For 3 seasons, then maybe he can be a permanent manager in that club.
Okay.
And this is the problem. This is what Chelsea wants. Every time you get good manager, maybe after 1 season you ask the person, you fire the person, now the person will go. Now there's the lack of getting a better manager in Europe. Who wants to come to Chelsea now? Nobody. You see? So I told the fans that they will suffer. And this the time has come. Now you are looking for manager you don't have. So will come up after 1 season you see you fire the person. That's the wrong football club. It's not right. That's not the wrong football club. And look at Liverpool now. This manager is here and they want to extend his contract. It's not better football for them. Not after 1 season you have the person to go. It's not good now. Now you want Lampard to come and take charge. You should come there, maybe 3 seasons, they give him the job, permanent. But for now, it's not the best way for him to handle that job. Maybe he can't take care of Chelsea right now. And it's not right for him to handle it. The job is too big for him. He lacks some experience. So he should come and study some top class manager. Maybe after 3 seasons, Lampard can have the job as a permanent manager. But no, he's not going to succeed in Chelsea.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, top striker.
From the Taproot, the real gift.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon to Mr. V and Lady.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Lady D.
My lady, I wanted to use your surname because that surname sounds like a name from my community also. But let me just say, let me go with my lady. Okay, nobody has seen her wicked. Top striker.
The real gift.
I want to ask you a question, please.
Please ask me.
You have 2 teams. on one side you have 20 goats led by one lion. On the other side, you have 20 lions led by one goat. Who do you think, at the end of the day, if they go into a fight, will succeed?
It depends, though. The 20 lions led by a goat. The goat must have done a good job to have led to make the lions become aggressive. So in the time of trouble, they can protect him. You see people, they train boys, they won't grow past them. Now, the lion, how want to put that?
The lion that is now
Leading 20
the
goats. When it's time for trouble, he might just be alone, standing alone. So I think I'll go with the goats, leading 20 lions. Oh, we lost that call right there. Do you want to call us back if you can?
Tricky.
It's quite tricky, but of course I'll get your opinion. Oh, we lost that. You going to say something?
Yes, a lion, is leading 20 goats.
Good.
The goats might actually, because of how the lion would have trained them, can turn quite vicious. We know goats are not vicious.
But I think Timmy has something to say. Hello, we have Timmy on the line. Hello, good afternoon, Timmy.
You're talking about Chelsea and you expect me not to call. Is that possible?
It's very possible.
It's your specialty now.
It's very possible.
I just said it to myself.
But Kat, you will not make heaven if you say anything now. I am not joking. But seriously, two of them, they stand a chance. Somebody said, I'm calling because somebody said Zola is a temperamental person. That is not true. It is not true. Zola got a red card in 1994.
Against Nigeria?
Against Nigeria when he tackled the Guabon. That is the only incident of indiscipline that Zola has recorded, from pressure to Napoli when he played under Maradona before he even came to Chelsea. Zola is a very calm person. For example, just in case some people have forgotten, Zola has management experience in the Premiership. He has coached West Ham.
West Ham,
Yes,
yeah.
West Ham, yeah.
Yes, Zola also was the first person to take Watford to their playoff finals, and they lost. And he even took them the next season. He was not fired. He wasn't given the job to take them to the Premiership. So Zola has everything. Before Hazard left, Zola was the number one player, the top. Like, Chelsea fans worldwide voted for Zola as the best foreign player to ever grace the top of Stamford Bridge. So Zola has everything for him. When people talk about age, now I'm not going to take sides against anybody. When people talk about age, now they're using Thierry Henry as an example. That's laughable. Fabio Capello, for those of us that have been following football for the first, Fabio Capello, AC Milan was the first team that he coached. He was in nobody. People were even surprised because Arrigo Sacchi was stepping down to take the Italian job, and he gave it to his person, Fabio Capello. AC Milan was the first team, and at that time, AC Milan was the biggest club in the world. Not to talk about biggest club in the world. They're not even talk about Juventus or even Real Madrid. They were babies that time. At that time, but we all know how he took them, the level he took them. So because Thierry Henry failed, doesn't make Lampard okay. As it is now, if I am Abramovich, I'll quietly give the job to Zola, because already he's in this setup already. He has the mentality. And record shows that in Chelsea, no Italian manager has come and left without winning a trophy. Any of the time Ranieri started it, Di Matteo won the Champions League, Conte won, Ancelotti won. Every single
Sarri has gotten a trophy.
Has won something. So why are people just like Zola this? Anybody that they want to give, if both of them are Chelsea legends, you cannot take it away from them. What advantage does Zola have over Lampard? He has coached in the Premiership before. He has coached teams over and over. He has even been in Italy before. What advantage does Lampard comfortably finish in the top four? Let's put with that record before they speak. Anyways, anybody that disagrees with me will go to hellfire.
Timmy Harrison, thank you so much for joining us on the show this afternoon. Right there on our screen, it's been an exciting encounter. Netherlands scored the Cameroonian team. Of course, in less than 1 minute, Cameroon equalizes 1-1. Cameroon up against Netherlands right there in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Hello, good afternoon.
Well, there's no hellfire. It's only God that will take somebody to hellfire. You see, it takes only a pleasure to bring out the beast in you. You know, this Italian way of, character, they are not kind of people that are patient, So I don't think Zola can manage Chelsea for now. Chelsea is not going for any title. They are not going for Premier League title. They just want to stabilize so that next year, if they can sign players, then they can forge ahead. So I think they are looking at somebody who is from their English that can give them, that kind of, what they want. Because if you watch the way the Italians have, performed in Chelsea, they are not patient. A little thing they will trigger and they will leave the club. All the Italian coaches that have managed Chelsea, don't look at their attributes. You find out that they are not patient with Chelsea at all. So I think the management is looking at somebody that can steer the ship, and maybe by the time we are free from our farm market, then we can buy players and start looking at how to win the league title. I think it depends on what they want. I think what Chelsea want now is Lampard, whether anybody likes it or not.
Thank you so much for the words. Of course, Timmy Harrison said whoever Chelsea decides to give the job, Lampard or Zola, he thinks he fits the bill right there. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Tashaka.
Faith, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Before I want to talk about this Chelsea hiring of Frank Lampard. But before I say anything, I want to talk of Sarri.
Go ahead.
Yes, I think Chelsea are doing the right thing first off by sending him out. Although people will say he has this in a trophy, but for me, if we are just so good that they didn't want to let themselves down, because they know that if they don't win, it doesn't matter whether you may leave and they will end up seeing that they didn't get anything. So that's what I want to talk about Mauricio Sarri. And I think if as he goes there, he don't change his philosophy or whatever he thinks he's doing that made him feel he won this, because I think that coach is not good. If he was good enough, then Mourinho left, they were on 6th, and even after all they came, they were still occupying, they still ended the season on the 6th position. So all these things, it needs experience. Honestly, life is all about risk. Unless they want to take the risk, just like Real Madrid took the risk and it worked for them. I don't know, but I really, if you ask me, I would say they shouldn't bring it, because, and this guy, if he comes and he messes up now, they will start calling for his head, and it won't be good for him. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faith, for your time on the show this afternoon. Keep the calls coming through. It's halftime right there, and of course, it's 1-1 between Netherlands and Cameroon in this encounter at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
They contemplating, although I am a Liverpool fan, but I just feel it for them. For now, they still have a band on them. So let them do what they need for. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Hello.
Your name and location, please.
Please. My own is just that he just spent only one season as a manager. And Zola has been an assistant coach for Chelsea over 2 seasons now. And even in Serie A, was an assistant coach in Allegri, if I'm not mistaken. Hello?
Go ahead, I can hear you.
So, even Zola says, I think that some time ago he was one coach, I think, in the championship.
Yeah.
To get to play. So Zola had more experience in the coaching than Lampard. Lampard has just spent only one season with every country, which I think he was just lucky. So I think we should just leave Lampard for now. Because if you watch the likes of then, who are now excelling in the coaching role now, they are assistant coach in their club. And this season, looking at how the club, the philosophy of the club, and everything about the club before stepping up as the manager. So Lampard now should just at least be patient for now. Not rushing to the manager role now.
Okay, thank you so much. I get your take on that right there. Keep the calls coming through. Let's get to hear your opinion about Frank Lampard. Do you think he's ready for him? The right time to take over the job right there at Chelsea. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Hello again, top striker.
The real gift. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, you answered the question. Was fair enough. And let me say, the other caller asked you a lot of questions concerning Pep and Zidane.
Yes.
And you saw the transformation. According to using your word, I think conveyor belts. We moved from this side to the other side. And now, where is Frank Lampard moving to? Straight up into the fry pan. As far as I'm concerned, I think Zola will do a better job. Yes, Zola played before the Abramovich era, but I think it's a blessing in disguise because you have somebody that will bridge both the old and the new schools together. And Zola has had stint with other teams as head coach of these teams before he came back to Chelsea as an assistant coach. So I think, and I believe that he is well prepared, unlike Lampard. Like this, you don't use the outcome of the morning market to conclude the day's market. At least for now, with Frank Lampard, yes, he's a legend. So also, Zola, but he's more of the new school legend. And then I think for the fact that he is a British, automatically the press there will want to garnish him in such a way that sometimes you never eat your belly on food. And I believe that Zola will do a better job. Frank Lampard, yes, he might come in there and do a good job also. And if because of his age, now you now talk about bringing back the Chelsea players, those under 23 and under 20 teams, boys to come back, especially with the expectation of this ban, which I know will not hold. I think Chelsea will get a favorable result with cash. That's what I believe anyway, to go the other way around. But I think for now, I keep an open mind. I think we should go for either Zula or you look for the other coach that can, manage this team. Because the truth is, sometimes the name the coach comes along with also matters on the type of players that will attracted to that team. So for me, they should, not be me they speak, not be me go pay them. But if I have my way, I think I will go with Zola, not Lampard for now. And briefly, please, do I have to make a comment on that mixing up Mata and
Pele, go ahead.
In one plate or one pot? Is it possible for you to use the same instrument you use in cleaning your ear to clean your eyes? Ordinarily, we are not measuring these persons in one swoop. The female football is different from the male. So if you want to bring them in, then let's have mixed teams. Let the female teams play the male teams, and then we'll judge from there. As far as I'm concerned, there's no basis. When it comes to the women's side, yes, Mata has done well. She has gotten everything. But if you say you want to love, and don't forget that in the days of Pele, football was not this scientific and was not this you don't have this sexy kind of football that you have.
Hello, the Rig Youth. Oh, we lost that call right there. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, I greet you, top striker.
Robina, welcome to the program.
The words of lost you. What have I missed? Top striker, I don't even know if I'm in a position to even comment on this Frank Lampard and Chelsea issue. But the good thing there is that I'm happy today that most persons are now fighting, and I hope my Manchester United brothers are listening. I told you then that they were pushing us to failure, after which they will use us as an unfortunate instance. Everybody now is talking about coaching experience. Nobody is talking about it. They no give an opportunity. Hang go carry prove himself. When you call Zidane, when you call Guardiola, as people that started from nowhere, Zidane and Guardiola did not start coaching from nowhere. They say they started from nowhere. The level of players Guardiola inherited, a man that has the service of Iniesta, Ronaldinho, Zazi, and the rest of them. You won't say the man started from somewhere. Who is Frank Lampard starting with? The only thing that is supposed to start with the Hazard just left that team. And for God's sake, this man is coming to coach a team that possibly will not sign player or 2 transfer windows unless they win the ban, which is 2 over 100 for them to win the ban. So how would Frank Lampard start? The worst instance to try to advise yourself is not the one that happened in Lagos or Abuja. It's the one that happened to your neighbor. Look at Manchester United today. If you know that Man U is gradually a closed chapter after we predicted this June, Man U is for the whole season. Manchester United has now signed a player from Swansea, and that is our first sign on. I told you people how this transfer market will be with a certain American association. They said we should give him a chance because he was in experimental matches. Frank Lampard just did a little thing. Daddy can't, if you follow the championship, Daddy can't ordinarily is a very good team in championship.
True.
Frank Lampard did not just go there and transform Daddy Kanti. In case they don't know, he did not do any more miracle there. Daddy Kanti, some of our friends that are on the other side of the business, they know Daddy Kanti is not just that team that you just roll over. Daddy Kanti is a very good team. If Frank Lampard has learned anything, believe you me, I don't know how Daddy Kanti will lose the championship that Aston Villa and the rest of them they have
Exactly.
and all of a sudden they just want to end this man's career like this. Drogba, of the last time I saw Drogba, he has shaved his head. He is virtually into entertainment thing, and you're bringing Drogba from nowhere, not even John Terry, to come and handle a team that will not sign player for 2 seasons. So, striker, my own issue for my mouth. So and then they keep talking again. So even commenting on Chelsea and Frank Lampard and Zola, we are crying about Sarri that just left. Arsenal people are crying about Emery. Georgian Klopp just did one smash and grab. Level of average coaches. Stuff like I remember when I told you that Premiership has never been this coach scanty. One of my very impressive friends told us about Aya's coach. At least someone can start from there. We are telling you that this team coaches don't finish. We are tired of seeing the average coaches and you're bringing now they are even going below average. They just want to end that man's career. They just want to end Frank Lampard's career. And for the person that said Chelsea do well to let Sarri go, just 48 hours Chelsea begged Sarri to come and take the job again. Chelsea lost. Sarri told Chelsea no 48 hours ago. I'm talking about Faith. Now Faith said Chelsea lost. Sarri said no to Chelsea. Just how Sarri reject has thought is the one now that turned down Chelsea at the 9 minutes. Chelsea was willing to make up. Sarri said no. Let me carry on until we go. For me, top striker, I don't know how the league will be, but I'm happy that today people are fighting this same Manchester United as their own fear. You don't see what happened for Man U. Look at what happened to Man U today. I'm happy at least I've been vindicated that all our people now, when talking about coaching and everything, they are no longer talking about how you go carry this, you know, give a chance. People are fighting Manchester United. I hope my brothers are listening. They are using us now for excuse to beef up their team when bringing in mediocre coaches. Let it be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obina from Orazi. Hello, good afternoon.
My brother Simon, call back.
Simon, welcome back.
First of all, thank you. I told him for his explanation, my friend. You know. Now, the another thing that I want to say is this. If we were talking about average club is not an average coach, then what I want to say again, can anybody tell me any English manager that coached any top English club and succeed? Please, can you just name one to me?
Any English manager?
Maybe you could just say Alex Ferguson.
Alex Ferguson is not an Englishman.
You see,
you have to call maybe Harry Redknapp. He has won the FA Cup.
You understand? England doesn't see English people. They don't have any good coach. That is just the thing. That is something that they should also consider. Is giving Lampard or any one of them there. Their own is just to hire people and speak English. And look at what happened to the other that Manchester United forward. That coach at is it Valencia or what? What is his name?
Harry Neville.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Simon from Rumo Zumaya. Hello, good afternoon.
I greet all of you.
Matthew Kalio, welcome to the program.
God bless you. This is Matthew Kalio. Happy weekend greetings.
Same to you.
Yes, let me also add my voice concerning my darling club, Chelsea. of all the coaches in the world, both the ones that are still starving and the ones that are sick and that are looking for clubs. In fact, let me quickly say that I will have even prepared Mourinho if he can cool down his pomposity and his head for a club, a big club like Chelsea. Well, who knows? He may succeed, but on the whole, it will be very, very tough. Can he command respect in the dressing room? Because all of them are big boys. Even he was a big boy in the club. He was a legend. Can he command respect? The management staff, all of them, can they back him up? If he mention one or two top players to be signed, the sporting director, scouts, and what have you, will give him the necessary backup for him to sign the players of his choice to take the club to the next level. Well, if all these conditions will met, they may succeed. But for now, let us say the Peter Church. Like Lampard should play with every county. Chelsea should go for bigger coaches. There are big top coaches that are still looking for clubs elsewhere. I still repeat. I still prefer Drogba. I mean, Mourinho. If he can cool down his fucking brain and his pomposity mentality to take the club to the next level. As for the Nigerian Super Falcons, I wish them all the best of luck in their Monday match against France. Also, that of the Super Eagles ahead of time, in as much as all the players.
Hello.
I will come on.
Thank you so much, Matthew Kalio. We can barely hear what you're saying at this point. Keep the calls coming through. The numbers are still the same: 0817 0000951, 0810951091. Hello, good afternoon.
Top striker, afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Francis calling from Sansamadi.
Francis, welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. Concerning Lampard, if you watch what happened to former Everton coach
David Moyes.
So for him to go to Chelsea will only accept him for only just one season. The next season they will start to bully him. So he should remain where he is now. Take the glory from there. Then hire 2 years. Then he go back to Chelsea if they want him. For him to go there now, it's very risky for him because the Moyes now doesn't have a job now. Within a short time, the same thing happened to this coach now, which they hate now. When he came in, they were shouting him, accepting him. But look at now, how many seasons? So there is more. Lampard should remain where he is. Then either two seasons, then we go back to Chelsea. Wanted to go, but at now, to me, I don't advise him to go. At now, to remain where he is now.
Thank you so much. He thinks that Lampard should remain where he is. Hello, good afternoon.
So, Striker, percent of the person that was telling us that where would someone start if Chelsea is too big. So things now, club the big past. I'm saying it here. I feel used. These are the same football administrators that came on air and told us that why would I say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer don't have experience? Why would I say small coach in a big club? Have we not been used and done? Oh, Father, I'm crying.
You know how to start in the Premier League. For now, I think the management knows what they are looking for and what they want. And you cannot say because Thierry Henry failed, Lampard will fail. They are not the same people. Lampard is Lampard, Thierry is Henry, and Monaco is Monaco, Chelsea is Chelsea. So not because you fail, then you use it to compare me. No, every stars are not the same. Everybody has individual stars and luck. You know, there are things I will do, I will not succeed. Some other things will come and do the same thing and succeed. So I think let us not start talking about Chelsea going under relegation. It's not possible.
Okay.
What the management wants to do now is to for how to stabilize the team, then the next season. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. On Twitter, Apostle Runzen says,
and they are banned from signing. Bringing a new manager now, I think it won't help much for them. I think Zola, no one was thinking about the current squad than Lampard. So I think they should just stick with Zola for now, at least. Thank you.
Thank you so much. He thinks that Chelsea should stick with Zola for now. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Charles Anderson calling from Rockport.
Charles, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yes. My opinion is Hazard coming from Chelsea doesn't mean Chelsea has fallen. So if Lampard comes here, Lampard can do it. Lampard is different from other players. What Chelsea need now is coach that can train those small boys to become something. What Chelsea cannot stand. Not every coach you come now to come to Chelsea.
How did he do well? Zola did better than him.
No. Lampard is better than Zola. Zola coached in the championship where the Lampard coached where.
He also helped Watford to almost gain promotion. Lampard did not gain promotion with Derby County.
But I know Aston Villa defeat them. But for now, if Lampard can just small ball, he learned from Chelsea, from Liverpool, and make us something. And those small balls are in Chelsea, and Chelsea still have big balls. So Lampard can come to Chelsea and make up something. Chelsea is a team that is better. This is how coach and should do something. Other
Completing his dream 130 million euros move to the club. The 8-year-old was unveiled in front of 50,000 Real fans at the Bernabeu on Thursday evening after undergoing his medical in Madrid and signing a 5-year contract alongside President Florentino Perez. The Belgian international showed off his skills to the screaming Real fans and then pledged to help restore the club to former glories following a trophyless season at home and in Europe.
I think now it's a matter of money. Chelsea is not easy negotiators. The player has said clearly that he wants to leave, he wants a new challenge. One of those players that any side would like to have with them, and I think if he comes, everyone would be very pleased, and of course the fans.
That was former president of Real Madrid, Ramon Calderon, before the deal was confirmed. He said it's going to be a dream and a big dream come true for them if they get Eden Hazard right. Then, of course, we're talking Real Madrid. Real Madrid have signed Japanese teenager Takefusa Kubo, describing him as one of the most promising young players in world of football. The midfielder will join Real Madrid Castilla, the club's reserve team. Kubo, who is 18, is on duty at the Copa America with Japan, for whom he made his international debut on the 9th of June against El Salvador. Madrid will pay 2 million euros, about 1.78 million pounds, to Japanese flight side FC Tokyo for the player, according to reports from Massa. And of course, Kubo was on Barcelona's books from the ages of 9 to 13, but had to return home when the Spanish duty of youth transfer breaches and given a transfer ban. Madrid are reported to have offered the teenager a 5-year contract worth of 1 million euros, about 890,000 pounds a year. They described Kubo as an attacking midfielder with excellent technique and good vision for the game. He has played 13 times for FC Tokyo in 2019, scoring 4 goals. And of course, we'll go straight to Eden Hazard move. And of course, Hazard, by every definition of the word, shoulders of a certain Eden Hazard. Do you think Hazard has all it takes to be a big hit at Real Madrid?
Individually, yes, I think he's going to be. He has everything it takes to be one of the greatest players, for Real Madrid. We've seen Ronaldo go there and he has done his stuff. We've seen Luka Modric go there. Yes, he didn't score. He's a midfielder and he has done well for himself as well after leaving Tottenham. So, so far, I think he's going to help Real Madrid. But the thing is, how is Real Madrid going to cope? What are they going to do next season to make them look better than what they had this season? That's where the question is. That's where the question is, because next season is going to define, Zidane's return to the La Liga giants. We know that yes, he helped them win 3 Champions League when he first took over at Real Madrid.
That gives you regular goals, constant goals in the season. It doesn't give you the double figures of goals.
This last season he actually got double figures for goals and assists, big one right there for Eden Hazard. So I think eventually, except something miraculous happens and he ups his game, and then he can be able to get the goal frequently for Real Madrid, else it's just going to be the classical Eden Hazard that we see now. The normal Eden Hazard in Chelsea, especially this season, we saw that it became such that he was carrying the entire burden of Chelsea. You want to say that there's no Eden Hazard, there's definitely not going to be any party.
That is business strategy to hit the Asian market.
Yeah. Real Madrid needs to get the striker, someone that can get them good. I know Joe, he's a very good assist. He gives lots of good assists. I'm not confident that Benzema would take those chances that will be given to him. That is my main.
in this season that Harry Kane became a voodoo for Tottenham Hotspur. That whenever he plays, they don't perform well. How many players, how many strikers can you really say, okay, yes, these guys get the goals in and out? You just mentioned Harry Kane, you mentioned Aubameyang. They are very, very strikers. And of course, Arsenal will definitely not let go of Aubameyang. Harry Kane is definitely not leaving Tottenham Hotspur this season. So I don't think they would be able to get that striker, except they're able to convert one of their players or someone decides to fill in those boots of get into that. Should be able to contest keenly for the La Liga trophy, in fact all titles next season. But then Eden Hazard moving over there is going to be a great one for him, but it's going to be less of a burden compared to what he showed at when he was at Chelsea.
And of course, over now to the Premier League, where the 2019-2020 Premier League season will start with Champions League winners at Liverpool hosting promoted Norwich City on Friday, the 9th of August. The champions Manchester City will open the defense of the title the following day with a trip to West Ham. For the first time in Premier League history, the clubs will get a short mid-season break in February. The break will be staggered over a 2-week period. There will be only 5 matches on one weekend, with the other 5 games from that round taking place the following weekend, ensuring that each team gets 1 week of the opening weekend. We also see Manchester United. The opening weekend will also see Manchester United hosting Chelsea on Sunday.
If Chelsea can manage, if the transfer ban is going to hold any waters, so I think that match is a decider for both sides to see how their season is going to look like.
You can have a bad first game of the season and still go ahead to pick up yourself.
Like I said, if the transfer market hampers Chelsea's hopes, I think it's going to also hurt Chelsea in the long run, looking at
players. But if you do not have a good manager to effectively galvanize this squad, the squad that you have, nothing will come out. Nothing will come out from all your spending and all your hard work. So, first of all, I want to know who is going to be at the before we can actually say, okay, Newcastle would be, and we've not even seen them make any signing. The money might be there. What if they don't spend eventually? What if they decide to?
When Arsene Wenger is not in charge.
Well, you never know. You never know. Until we're able to see the signings, we're able to say, okay, man, Newcastle United have gotten good players, and of course, we know who is eventually going to be leading them next season before we can actually say, okay, they should be contenders for maybe not the title, but definitely they would be a thorn in the fleshes of those big teams, and of course, maybe contend for your Champions League position.
For the newcomers, Norwich City, you have them there. Not forgetting Sheffield United and of course Aston Villa. Do you see 3 of them going back to where they came from, or some of them beating the drop, avoiding the drop rather?
I think one of them would avoid the drop.
If you had to pick any, which would that be?
Aston Villa.
Norwich.
To avoid the drop?
Yep.
Because they won the championship?
Not because they won. I saw this fighting spirit when it comes to the players. They really wanted to be there.
Against 2 dead bodies.
Forget about they. At least they won the title and they were there. Clearly, they finished top of the and they came here. So for me, so far, I want to give it to Norwich. Probably, I think Sheffield United will probably go back. That's what I think. But I think Norwich is going to avoid the drop.
And of course, they have their opinions on that. And of course, the new Premier League season, they already have their schedule fixed. The man who shake table. Eden Hazard going to Chelsea, to Real Madrid. He was a hit at Chelsea. Some people will say he can go into the conversation of one of the greatest 10 players in the history of Chelsea. Do you see him becoming a hit at Real Madrid? We've seen players who go to Real Madrid and they falter big time. What do you make about Eden Hazard move to Real Madrid? Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, top striker quickly. Top striker, do you know why no striker has been able to succeed at Chelsea?
Why?
It's because of Drogba. Because they want to replace Drogba. In Arsenal, it's because they want to replace Henry. At Man U, because they want to replace Rooney. AC Milan,
they want to replace Sir Alex Ferguson.
AC Milan, because they want to replace Kaka. Inter Milan, because they want to replace Valencia, because they want to replace David Villa. Top striker.
Real Madrid.
In Royal Madrid cannot replace Ronaldo. Hazard will be a normal Gabriel Jesus at Manchester City, at Real Madrid. Believe you me. If they think that Hazard is coming to do anything half, why Liverpool is not feeling Suarez is because of they use two persons, which is though they are average players do, Salah and Mane, to replace Suarez. That's why it's like Liverpool is not feeling Suarez. Each time you see these teams go make this signing to replace a certain player, so we will not see anything about that player. You remember my brother Okocha told us that it's better to be a big fish in a small river than to be a small fish in a big river. Eden Hazard will not even worry Isco in that team. I'm not a prophet of doom now. I'm telling you, Eden Hazard will not even shake Isco. Even a certain one is a left footer now.
Marcelo.
This guy that not Marcelo, now average Jesus in Manchester City. That is that. Hazard has been in Chelsea for the last 7 years. For the last 7 years of Hazard in Chelsea, in any year that Hazard is on top of his game, do we win a trophy or not? Chelsea will win a trophy, 1 or 2 trophies in that season. Is that a flop? Now, is that moving to Real Madrid? He's comparing Hazard with who? The two players is mentioning his name. Are they of quality of Hazard in Real Madrid? No. Oh God. I hate people that you want to like.
Solomon, drop your own points. Yes, drop your own point and don't attack any.
I rather that you all play that you will see he will be the player that what Ronaldo, yes, he cannot wear the shoe of Ronaldo because at the age of Ronaldo, where Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, they had a long time at his peak. Now, if you watch in this 5 years, highest, as that we were said in three seasons.
I find even if somebody is analyzing, you understand the point that is coming. For what I understood, Obin has not said that Hazard is not a good player. But going there to stay in the shoe of Ronaldo, so let him not put that pressure upon himself. In fact, Hazard is supposed to reject that number 7 set, so that he goes there and become Hazard. I play like Hazard. Don't try to add anything from that Hazard. It's just like the other person that what is his name? The well player there, the left footer.
Galibe.
From top, Galibe. Some people might tell you that he scored for Champions League final, all those things. But as far as I'm concerned, he did not succeed for the hype and the price they bought him that time. You know that Real Madrid is not a place that he can do anyhow. So Hazard supposed to go there, just then that, and the age is no longer in 28 years, just as the last caller said. He has to limited the age time to 30. But Ronaldo went to Real Madrid as a younger player, under 25. So Hazard should go there and relax. Play. Don't should not allow the pressure of Ronaldo to pull him down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon from Ramos Maya. Keep the calls coming through. Obina did not.
Goes there that you want to go and win world best. You want to go and become Ronaldo, like what Benitez did when he took over Inter Milan. He just went there and started moving Mourinho to. He cannot. He will just let him just go there as I think a player that is trying to make name for himself, not to compete with people's record. You understand? Then when the records come for him to do, he can break it. Because Ronaldo never went there to break Raúl González's record. He was just seeing them coming and he was playing, keep his head down, playing his ball. I think every good fan should advise him or coach should advise him, not just because you want to become a star. You decide to go and start putting a lot of pressure on your head and then you cannot get it right. Then for Obin, I think for first and both of us have been in good place this time around. I think I'm very happy with him understanding that football is not the way always. I think if we continue to do like this, I think I will.
Coach Asna, thank you so much. We get your point on the show this afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Top striker.
Your name and location?
Top striker, Solomon.
Solomon, welcome back.
Yeah, top striker.
Solomon.
thank God, when they update Azza says, I'm coming to write a new page. And as a player, top striker, if they unveiled you, they brought you to a team because a big player has put on a jersey. So if they are not giving you that jersey and that is your wing, you will not reject it. Azza should have not rejected that jersey because that one, Azza, that is his wing. And because of Ronaldo has left that shirt. Is it Ronaldo is the first player put on 7? No. Ronaldo came in there and put on 7 and shine. So automatically Azza can see put on that and he has come to write a new page. And the other season when they won that Champions League where Ronaldo is there, he should have won that world footballer. The player that they gave the world footballer to, all of us, we all shouting, he did not merit it. That player, even say that is in Real Madrid, is it better than Azza? The correct world footballer of the year now. Is it better than
The year under review, he played very well, so he deserves the award.
No, okay, I'm not asking because
they don't play the same wing, so you cannot even compare. They don't compare Luka Modric and Hazard.
God bless you now, but if Parabet now, both of them are Unagi in this coming season now, it is then that we will not it will not be a battle line of between them. That is why you will not see who Hazard is because he knew that I am coming to do a difference, but he will have a limited year in his career. You will see.
Okay.
I bet anybody by next season and 2 season time we will see what Azza will do. Actually, because he's playing a mature football now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Solomon, for your time on the show. Hello, good afternoon.
Top striker, lastly, tell my brother that Real Madrid number 7, Chelsea, is not just a number, it's a symbol. You can go and find that. Number 7 in Real Madrid, number 3 in AC Milan. I can go on and on. There are some things that numbers are not just squad number, they are symbol. Number 7 for Real Madrid, not the number, now symbol. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, I agree. All of you there.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Jerry. Good afternoon.
God bless you. This is Jerry from anyone that holds on to the ball, they are wasting their time. Nothing. You will not achieve anything. That's why my experience today. All talent, all quality, nothing to shoot for it. It's just making money because of that. That's good now. It's going down gradually. Very soon we know where. But if Hazard can go there, Hazard takes the ball to speak rather than him speaking. That he can speak with the ball rather than him just as a person on the field. Make the ball to speak. The ball, the way he moves the ball, the way he passes the ball, the way he goes with counter. Okay, then he will do it. But if he goes there and hold on to the ball and wait for the younger Vinicius and there's all of them will now wait for him until he's ready, finally ready. Most of the time will not be ready because they'll take the ball for him. Like
Benzema was sacrificing for him to be there.
You see, for this what you have said there, I'm going to give you 101% for that. 101%. 100% will not be enough. I will not have a clear conscience if I should give you just 100%. That was why, that's what I'm talking about. The Hazard placing game, can be great Neymar placing game, can be Asensio Isco placing game, and move on. No. But now Benzema is old. Benzema is playing with more of aggression. He wants to please the game. He now put up all those strength, what he doesn't have and the one he has lost. All are just aggression. It can't go beyond that. It won't go lower. So the CBTN striker, where are striker? Why are they? There's hardly striker. So what they do is they are looking for people like Pogba. Somebody that can pass ball, perfect accurate passes with two eyes closed. That's what they did. To work with me.
Sorry, should go back with Georgia. And of course, time check is about 89 minutes. And of course, Netherlands 3, Cameroon 1. I think you've turned apart the Cameroon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, I'm also from Buguma.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, Obinake number 7 Jesse Adma is a symbol, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that means number 7 Jesse Adma is a piano now.
No, if you understand what he's saying, don't just pick up a word and run with it. There are some jersey in some clubs that is iconic. While wearing the jersey can even put more load on your body.
Okay, I know that. Okay, talking about Hazard. I know Hazard is a good player, a skillful player, a playmaker. You all know that. He can even perform at Madrid. But the thing is that if Hazard can offset them, because normally if you watch the game against Chelsea and Man U, when they played 1-1, Hazard slowed down many Chelsea's counter-attacking. So if you take such football to Real Madrid, I doubt if he will succeed. But I wish him well because I'm a Chelsea fan. A very good, pleasant player at Real Madrid. Thank you.
Thank you so much, right there for your.
What? I want a work football in Italian league. Where if you are a striker, as a guest, if you can play a full season in Italian league without you don't end your career, that is how you know that you are what? A striker. That is where John Otto he excelled in Italian league. Why not talk of a striker that till today, Islam was a lucky player. They have already restored, but FIFA has made laws into football to dilute. If you are a striker, you cannot play a season without you visiting the surgeon. But FIFA has come and diluted football. That is why you now see you can do anything you want to do. They will cover you up with our rules. But in respect of that, you cannot compare who has a raw talent like Hazard, Messi, Ronaldo to play to coach instruction. You see the last Hazard season in Chelsea, how many goals he scored?
Okay.
Because he listened to coach. So I believe that the guy will refine Hazard that too much of holding football will not be there. He will become a better player for his little season.
Okay. Thank you so much, Solomon, for your take on the issue. Of course, so other matters this afternoon is full-time right there. And of course, Netherlands 3, Cameroon 1. The Cameroonians suffering their second defeat back-to-back. We've seen two African teams suffering back-to-back defeats, talking about the South Africa and Cameroon, and just Nigeria with one defeat and one victory.
Because they just lost to Netherlands. I actually said this one was going to end football in general. We need to up our game such that we will be able to effectively compete with other teams in other parts of the world, because you see these teams, they do so well. Not to forget that these African teams here, the African teams representing the continent, they are the best in Africa. Talking about the Super Falcons, the Banyana side, and now the Cameroonians, and these are the best teams in Africa. And right now, to see the best teams in Africa, they really cannot get a victory in a World Cup match. It's really sad. I think African teams will need to up their game so that subsequently we can effectively compete with other teams.
So some transfers making the rounds this afternoon, where West Ham have signed a Spain forward Pablo Fornals for £24 million from the legal side. Villarreal, the 3-year-old, joins the Hammers on a 5-year deal with the option to extend it for a further 12 months. Fornals will join up with Mania Pellegrini squad at the conclusion of the Under-21 European Championships, which will run until 30th of June. He said, I feel very good, very happy, and very grateful for the opportunity and to be part of West Ham. The Castellon-born attacking midfielder earns a second stint at Villarreal, who finished 14th in La Liga last season after returning from Malaga in 2017. He started out in Villarreal's youth ranks. For now, will be reuniting with West Ham director of football Mario Huselas, who oversaw his progress through the Villarreal B team and before he made his senior debut against Real Madrid aged 19. And of course, the Spaniard is the Hamas' third close season signing following the arrivals of goalkeepers David Martin and Roberto. West Ham already have 3 players they've signed. Dockers last season they spent a lot more than £100 million, and we know how they were beaten neither here nor there. But of course, causing upset for some of the big teams. You see them also causing problems. 3 players, 2 goalkeepers, and You're surprised, right?
I am.
I don't know what Drogba will bring to the team, probably because maybe he might talk to strikers to tell them one or two things. But for me, I think John Terry would have been a better fit.
And of course, Man United's France international Paul Pogba insists he wants to leave the club for Real Madrid, as Crystal Palace, as £50 million rated England under 21 defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka would favour a move to Manchester United, but is not pushing to leave the Eagles. Wan-Bissaka is a left foot back, and they have Luke Shaw. Is he aware?
He is.
Okay. While Tottenham have ruled out a move for Sporting Lisbon's Portugal midfielder Bruno Fernandes, who has been linked with Manchester United. Man United believe they can win the race to sign Leicester defender Harry Maguire because of Manchester City's reluctance to pay in excess of £80 million for 26-year-old England international. Chelsea's Brazilian midfielder Willian is on the brink of signing a 2-year deal to stay at Stamford Bridge, as Man United are ready to make David De Gea an improved offer in a bid to keep him at Old Trafford beyond 2020. And of course, Arsenal are keen to sell 30-year-old German midfielder Mesut Ozil to fund other summer transfer targets. Ajax will seek just over £30 million for their Morocco winger Hakim Ziyech this summer, with Liverpool and Arsenal interested in 26-year-old, while Man United are favourites to sign Argentina international Giovanni Lo Celso, but Real Betis have put a £67 million asking price on the midfielder, who has also been linked with Tottenham. And of course, Villarreal have also put £67 million on Samuel Chukwueze for any team interested. He has signed a new contract, buyer's clause, £67 million. And of course, Liverpool have made an offer for Leeds Ivory Coast winger Nicolas Pepe, who is 24, as Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is willing to sell Egypt striker Ahmed Salah if Pepe comes to Anfield. Fulham striker Alexander Mitrovic, who has been linked with West Ham, is on the verge of a move to Real Betis, as Liverpool and Croatia defender Dejan Lovren could be set for a move to AC Milan, with his agent flying to meet with the Serie A side. Arsenal are planning to offer Gabon striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a huge new contract as they aim to ward off interest from the Chinese Super League. Leeds will reject any interest from Tottenham in 18-year-old forward Jack Clark, and from Aston Villa for 23-year-old midfielder Calvin Phillips. The brother and agent of former Chelsea forward Gonzalo Higuain has appeared to end speculation linking the former Argentina international with a move to Roma by saying that the 31-year-old wants to end his career, publicly declaring his commitment to Newcastle United. United won the England youngster in time for him to join the squad on their preseason tour to Australia on July the 7th. And of course, Arsenal are preparing an offer for highly rated Flamengo midfielder René Jesus, who is 17, a Brazil under-17 international. Former Arsenal midfielder Edu, who is 41, currently national team coordinator at the Brazil Football Federation, is on the brink to allow the Magpies to fulfill their potential and play for something bigger in the future. Quickly, Dorcas and Victor, we hear that Matthijs Elite has been spotted in Paris looking for accommodation. People have advised him, if you want to grow as a footballer, avoid PSG. But of course, it seems it's all about the money for him.
I don't know why he's picking PSG, but for me, I don't think it's the best thing to do for his career right now. He's still growing. He still needs to learn one or two things. But
he has the Brazilian, Silva.
Please. I just feel like France is not the particular place for him to start, especially not Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe in Spain and maybe Italy or probably the English Premier League. It could also help boost his career one way there. But he's his choice. He made a choice, so I think he's cool with it.
Victor? But after he leads to PSG,
I think it's the same thing.
It's not just that he spotted him looking for accommodation.
Exactly, it's just speculations. But then it looks like this guy is more concerned about the money, and maybe he sees something in France, in Paris Saint-Germain particularly, that could just help him. Now we see how everyone is hyping Kylian Mbappe. Maybe he believes that if he moves over to Paris Saint-Germain, he could just be the next Kylian Mbappe.
And of course, it's a wrap on the show this afternoon. Many thanks for your listening. Pleasure. Many thanks to Victor and Dorcas. And of course, join us tomorrow from 1 to 6 p.m. But of course, from the 4 o'clock hour, Wisdom Obina and the rest of the guys are here to talk to you about everything Nigerian football. It's a wrap on the show. Bye-bye. Stay blessed.
My dream, my speed, and my strength give me the power to win. We flying higher to the top. Can't stop me now. Give me the power to win. stronger. I'm the best, so I pick up my chest. My dream, my speed, and my strength give me the power to win.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to, of course, the second edition or second half of today's Sports Life for this beautiful Saturday, reaching you from the studios of your premium news talk and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. My name is Wisdom Obina, just in case you're wondering, and I'll be your anchor on the show today. I'm not alone in the studio. As usual, I've got Chidubem Njoku on the show. Chidubem, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Wisdom. Good evening, Port Harcourt and the big state of Rivers. And I'm sure there are other people listening, not just Rivers State. So it's an international radio. For the records, you can join us on YouTube and see, did I say beautiful faces? Yes, they did prove us wrong. I think, was it on Tuesday or so, where asking ourselves,
giving us the line names, spying on them, and the transfers also. Yes, Nigerian players are also moving. It's not only the Europeans. Yeah, a lot of Nigerian players have been involved in some moves already, while some are speculated to be leaving. 63 million pounds, euros now as the case may be, slapped on the head of Samuel Chukwueze by Villarreal to ward off anyone who wants to side them. But as usual, the show is packaged to be interactive, so we encourage you to be part of it by hitting us on any of our feedback live here on the show, Today FM 951, or you can also tweet or copy me at wisdom_OB. Okay, I hear our message portal might just be back, so still send in your messages. 0701-933-9962. Our engineers are working on it, so of course it would be back in time, but we'll get to hear your thoughts as the show goes on. But straight off, we'll be going straight into the ITO Cup.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
All right, straight we start off. But just to let you know, Chidubem was telling, in case you're anywhere in the world and you wish to see what Chidubem looks like in the studio, very handsome young man, I tell you, for the ladies and for the guys, you can watch us on YouTube, Today 95.1 FM live stream. Yes, Today 95.1 FM. Just search that on YouTube and you'll be seeing us live here in the studio. But the ITO Cup, as I told you, following the completion of the Super Six that finally brought the cutting down of the Nigeria Professional Football League season, all the attention is now on the national finals of the Federation Cup 2019. Newly crowned Nigeria Professional Football League champions, Enyimba, they are top on the list of the teams which would begin their quest for glory in the 2019 Federation Cup this weekend. Enyimba FC, the People's Elephant, are up against Kanu Pillars Feeders at the Kwara Sports Complex in Ilorin on Sunday. But on Saturday, cup holders Rangers International of Enugu and Niger Tornadoes Feeders clash at the Lekon Salami Stadium, Ibadan. And Rivers United will cross swords with Timber Loaders in Lafia. The game is already on. Of course, I will be bringing Filas. The lineups too, I'll be reeling that straight here on the show. The Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Enugu, is the venue of the clash between Abia Warriors and Heartland Comets, while Yobe Desert Stars they face Ambassador FC in Bauchi, and Lokoja Township Stadium welcomes Gombe United and FC Ifan Yoba Feeders. Katsina United and Gwandu United will battle things out in Gusau, while Jigawa Golden Stars and Insurance FC are up in arms at the Bako Kontagora Stadium, Mina. And Damaturu will bubble with life, yes, for Wiki Tourists of Bauchi and Setrako United. On Sunday, last year's finalists, Kanu Pillars, have a session with Aspire FC at the FIFA Goal Project, Abuja, and same day, El Kanemi Warriors will file out against Police of Oshogbo at the Lafia Township Stadium. And just in case you missed the fixtures right there, some of them are already ongoing. Rangers against Tornadoes Feeders, KB United versus Lobby Stars, Abia Warriors against the Heartland Comets, Ambassador FC against Yobe Desert Stars, our own Rivers United against Timberloader FC, Sokoto United against Aqua United, while Wali Flamingos will face off against Delta Force. Gombe United will face off against FC Fanyuba. Niger Tornadoes against Fazbear FC. Enyimba against Kanu Pillars, but that will be Kanu Pillars feeders, not Kano Pillars, the main Kano Pillars feeders. That will be tomorrow. Gwandu United against Katsina United today. Jigawa Golden Stars against Insurance. Police FC of Oshobo will come up against El Kanemi Warriors. That will be tomorrow. Setraka United against Plateau United. Wiki Tourist against Qatar FC. Layin Zomo FC versus Sunshine Stars. Kasina United Feeders against Nasarawa United. Kwara United versus Ben Ayade FC. Aspire FC against Kano Pillars. That would also be tomorrow. But there have been some round of 64 results, and let me just run through that quickly. Gateway United did beat Alma FC 1-0. Warri Wolves beat Doma United 2-1. Sinosaur, they played out a 2-0 draw with Mighty Jets, but Sinosaur won on penalties 5-4. Yobe Desert Feeders did lose against Smart City 1-0 in favor of Smart City right there. Oshun United, they lost to Shooting Stars 1-0. Ekiti United did beat Ebonyi United 4-0, and Spartans, yes, used to be a beautiful name and traditional side those days. Spartans, they lost to Port Harcourt City FC 1-0. Kogi United, they did beat Akure City FC on penalties. They played out a 3-0 draw and they won 3-0 on penalties. Amanda FC beat lost to Calabar Rovers, by the way, 2-1. While FC Delio played out a 1-0 draw with EFCC. EFCC won that one 5-4 on penalties. Aklusendi, they did beat Zagbai FC 3-1. White Crown FC did beat Bayelsa United Feeders 3-0. So Bayelsa United Feeders out of this one. Adamawa Heroes lost 7-0 to ABS FC. All right, Chidubem, quickly before I come to you, what do you make first of these fixtures? Looking at getting the team list for our dear Rivers United. Of course, they are already, the game is already on. Okay, I have it here with me. For the starting 11 for, okay, this is for team, okay, against Timbaluda FC. We have first Akonde Abiodun, Peter Obakama, Conan Ruffin, Ogar David, Temple Emeka, Uchenna Martins, Bright Onyedikachi, Malakai Ohaume, Osi Martins, Kehinde Adedipe, Bamba Bakari. And for the substitutes, we have Darlington Ovunda, Chigozie Ihunda, Festus Austin, Tofik Omar, Esor Okwa Nelson, Cletus Emoton, and Charles Justice. Chidubem, what do you make of these encounters, and which of them stands out as maybe something, not really all look like fair games, but which one stands out at maybe just where there could just be a surprise, at least among the few big boys we know about?
Like you said, the fixtures are quite routine, and no one particularly stands out. But results are just coming. Not so long ago, Aqua United has beaten Sokoto United by 2-1. David Inya as well as Indifreke Fiong got the goals for Aqua United in that one. But for Rivers United against Timbaluda FC, I mean, not so many people care about that team. No disrespect to them, but Timbaluda, I mean, I'm hearing that team for the first time, and I'm sure a lot of persons are hearing it for the first time as well. But upsets happen. That's why the cup competitions are here. They are here to cause the upsets. I mean, we can't forget in a hurry what a particular box-to-box FC did to Almighty MFM in the 5th round, not even the quarterfinals or semi-finals, the 5th round of the state qualifiers.
Yeah,
they knocked them out. So that tells you that this competition actually gives for the derbies. For the fact that it's a derby, I think Heartland Comets coming up against Abia Warriors. I think, yes, that looks like an interesting fixture because the two teams,
Southeastern side,
and not just that, they are neighbors, very close neighbors, and they want to flex their muscles and their minds. Heartland comments themselves, they are not the numero no team when it comes to Imo State. We know that Heartland is the biggest team. Heartland didn't come here because they were knocked out by this team. So they will want to prove themselves, talking about the Heartland side, and show that despite the fact that they are the second fiddle to Heartland, they will want to prove a point against Abero. So I think maybe we should be seeing a little bit of drama in that center because it's an Oriental derby, like I said, a mini Oriental derby anyways. But generally, not too many fixtures to catch my eye. But I wish for the good of the Rivers team, Rivers supporters rather, that Rivers United doesn't manage to mess up today, because I've looked at the lineup. It's quite a strong one. They'll be looking forward to the likes of Abiodun Makonde in goal, who's been quite decent for them this season, to put up those saves that will keep them in the game, because he's been very instrumental, if you ask me, to always guarantee them those 1-0 victories, because as much as people talk about the fact that Rivers United finds a way to win by goal to nothing, you have to be able to keep the goal, because if you're not able to keep the goal, your opponents can score in the dying minutes. So credit also must go to Abiodun Konde. I've seen him 1 or 2 times. He's put up quite some decent performances. So I think they'll be banking on him, as well as the likes of O.T. Martins in front of goal, to be able to deliver the goods for them. Strong, very strong lineup put out by Stanley Goma. It shows the intent of the team that they are not going to be taking this competition lightly, even if it's against a relatively unknown Timber-loaded FC. And maybe they have learned their lessons from Aqua United and what they suffered when they tried to play a second or even third string side in their fixture. So generally, I would expect Rivers United to get the result, although it's about 15 minutes now in that center and still no goal recorded. I hope the goals will manage to come sometime soon.
All right, Chidubem, you just talked about the fact that Rivers United will be putting everything they have. They actually have nothing else to play for when it comes to getting to the continent. So it's expected. But the treaty, the league actually ended in the week, of course, with Enyimba, Rangers and Enyimba, Kano Pillars and Rangers qualifying for the continent. Enyimba and Kano Pillars would be going to the Champions League, while Rangers will be moving to the Confederations Cup. Now, we know that anybody who wins the ITO Cup would be joining these 3 teams on the continent. Now, first, for these 3 sides, is there any need to put in too many efforts in this competition, seeing it might count to nothing outside winning the trophy and maybe the money involved?
It's a good thing you mentioned the money, because that was the first thing I was going to talk about. Nobody can, very few teams can look past the money. It's quite a huge sum, if you ask me. 25 million naira. I mean, in Nigeria, it's quite an amount to look past, because that can do a lot of things for you in this part of the world. So I think that's a major motivation for the teams. And winning cups never gets boring. You can never get tired of winning those cups. For Enugu Rangers, it looks, they looked quite disgruntled at this point, because you look at the way they were able to finish the regular season, quite imperious form they were in. Practically brushed past everybody they faced in their group, and they got to where it matters most, and they faltered. Yes, they were able to get a continental slot, albeit slot in the second tier competition. That's the CAF Confederations Cup now, but still something to cheer maybe. But returning to where they were last season, I don't think it was too good for Enugu Rangers, going by the standards they set for themselves in the regular season. So perhaps Benga Gumote will feel a little disgruntled, and what's better way to do it than to defend the trophy they won last season? Because I mean, if they manage to win the ITO Cup, I'm sure many Enugu fans will forget the fact that they had quite a shambolic Super 6 championships out in there, if you go by their standards in regular season. So I think Enugu Rangers, on that basis, should be looking to do that. And of course, they are defending champions. It will be a crime to win it a second time. But for Aqua United, I think they are the team with the biggest pressure at this moment, because I don't know if Rafael Everton will still stay in this side, because the last game they played against Enyimba, he wasn't in the stands. He was out for that one. The assistant team manager had to stay in for that game, and rumors everywhere that there are infractions between him and the club chairman, talking about Paul Bassi and the management in general. So I just hope maybe that they're able to settle their differences and see out the ITO, because I believe that Aqua United, they've come of age. I don't want to buy into that sentiment of inexperience and all that. They've come of age. They've won this competition before, some 3 years ago. And I think it's about time they proved critics wrong. I mean, they have to win the ITO Cup. The pressure is on them. I don't know how they're going to cope with it. Unfonu Dor, he's been a shadow of himself for a long time. He has to be sat out on the bench for quite some matches now. Indifeke F. Young has been the one shouldering the burdens of this team for quite a while, despite the fact that he's a defender. But I think the team has to step up. Some of the players, the big players, have to step up and carry the team, because you can't afford to be struggling at this point in time. So I think this is their only chance for redemption. Winning the ITO Cup, it might not really be a celebration for them, so to speak, because what they were expected to do was to win the league, or at least get a place in the CAF Champions League. Because I think with all the investments they made, bringing in Kobasi and Indifeke F. Young, who they've been courting for years, they finally managed to get him this season. And of course, the star boy himself, Unfonu Dor. I think doing all this, they should be able to, get something for themselves. But it's just difficult to see how they are going to be able to cope with the kind of pressure they have, and now they even have an internal wrangling to even complicate the issue for them. But for Rivers United, we've talked about them over and over again. They look like the Arsenal of the MPFL these days. It looks like there's no ambition in Rivers United. It's quite unfortunate, but that's the truth. When Rivers United just manages to escape relegation, and you hear coaches and some officials coming out to tell you they had a good season, I mean, it just paints the picture of the team at this point in time. I don't think the team is as ambitious as I would expect. I mean, you hear fans from Eyimba, you hear fans from Aqua United. They are even disgruntled when they pick up points at home or even go away from home and somehow get a draw. You see fans getting disgruntled because their team failed to win away from home. But for Rivers United, I mean, we are beginning to celebrate mediocrity in Rivers United. It's quite unfortunate, but that's what it looks like. And at this point, something has to change. Something has to give way for it. I'm quite fascinated that Stanley Guma had to put out a strong lineup against an unknown Timber-loaded FC.
No,
I said,
I think they have nothing else to play for.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So their life is on the line.
Yeah, some other coaches would have. But like I said, one of the unfortunate things the Rivers United team will face now is the fact that some other big teams are also desperate to get this title. Aqua United,
Enugu interested in the money as much as Eyimba too themselves. Even if I feel generally the wisdom might just be giving some other players a chance to actually perform in this one. I think it's what it would even be from feelers in. It might just be that the big boys in Eyimba might not even be be part of this game, because of course they are still. I'm telling you, they've already done their beat, in winning the league. But Chidubem, let's look at it from this angle. Now, Rivers United, for example, are a team who have not much to fight for. But you look at Eyimba, you look at Kano Pillars, you look at Rangers. We are in the off-season. Now, the regular season ended just last week, and of course, Eyimba were crowned champions. We already hear the likes of Fatal Dauda of Eyimba might be dumping the side to leave, that's leaving the team. We also hear feelers that maybe the likes of Bartholomew Ikechukwu Benegbu might be going for trials outside the country. How are we going to be able, as clubs, how do we keep our players? We saw some players, a max exodus in some teams last season.
Ifeanyi
Uba,
MFM
and the like.
United.
Why some went through the back door just to travel to some other country out there. And don't forget, the European market is open. This is the easiest time to maybe get a club in Finland or Poland, to actually... what do you think we might do to keep these our talents? Looking at the fact that we have these three teams, Eyimba, Rangers, and Kano Pillars, going to represent us on the continent.
I'm afraid there's little or nothing you can do if the right club comes or the right offer comes. And that's simply because you can't stop a struggling man from clinging onto the ropes for survival. At this point, the league is battered and shattered. It's the unfortunate truth. I can't be on a salary of 150,000 naira a month or even 300,000 naira a month, and there's a club somewhere offering to pay me $5,000 or £5,000 a week and expect me to not to look at them. I mean, it's not human to think that way, but I think it's what it is at this point. If anything has to change, it has to be the structure on ground, which is actually not on ground. These things can't happen in the next 2 weeks or even 2 months. It has to take a long time for that to be effected, or at least the next annual general meeting, if that's anything to go by. But I think with what we have now, it's no magic that's going to happen. If those big offers come, those players definitely will leave. And I'm sure the clubs even themselves want the players to leave, because definitely we know what comes to the club when these players go. I mean, Eyimba will be smiling to the bank with the departure of Valentine Ozoafo, as well as Ike Owamuti went to Israel and Turkey. So when these offers come, I think you can't stop the players from going. We're talking to, I think on the program, we're talking to the sporting director of MFMFC some 3 weeks ago, and he was talking about the fact that you can't stop the players from leaving. Stephen Ode was in his side, star boy of that team at some point, but when the offer came, he had to leave. I mean, it's practically impossible for you to tell a player to sit in the league when there's nothing you want to offer him the league, except there's something extra juicy in the league that will make you not to leave. The fact that Infonodo is still here with us is because he's failed to make it out of the shores. Severally, he's tried to do that, but somehow, maybe luck and some people say in village people they pursue him or something. The man has failed to leave, and that's why he's still here. Some of our best players, Ikechukwu Benebu, you mentioned, Mosquito, fantastic player. The flicks and the tricks. I mean, he's a fantastic dribbler. You need to see him play football. The fans love him. He's the fans' favorite in Eyimba. They love the way he dazzles them. Your culture of Nigerian football. He knows how to give the fantasies and all of that. But the man will leave if the offer comes. You can't keep him. He's been battling with injuries. The past season as well, he battled with injuries for a long time, and that kind of hampered his career. But now it looks like the man is beginning to come back to himself and quite managing to stay a bit fit. If the offer comes, he leaves. The players that will manage to leave now, that will manage to stay, are those who have not gotten those juicy offers yet. And that's where the stage or the structure of the club now will come to play when it comes to movement of the players within the country. And that's where some of these big clubs do better management. We always give kudos to Felix Anasiago for what he's been able to do with the Eyimba side. I mean, last season, how many players did they lose? Just one or two. Ike Uti, who left to Aqua United, we understand. Most people would think he left for the money and all that. And he was not even, so to speak, in the good books of Abdul Kaba.
You mean in Fonudor?
Fonudor, rather. Fonudor. So I think for Eyimba, they were able to keep a bulk of their players coming into this season. I think they are still going to be able to do that going into next season because definitely they won the league and not too many players want to leave. Fatai Dauda is touted to leave because he didn't get the play time he wanted. I mean, that man went to the World Cup in 2014 with Ghana. He's a top level goalkeeper and he cannot afford to be on the bench at this stage. So you can understand the man's grievance at this stage. He wants first-team football, and that should be why he should be leaving to somewhere else. But you look at the other players, I'm sure a bulk of them want to stay with that side, except the GC offer from abroad comes in. But for other teams, other smaller teams, you expect these big teams to pick up some of their players. The Aqua Uniteds of this world, the Eyimbas. Eyimba definitely want to beef up their squad going into the continent, of course. So you expect them to go to some of the supplying teams. Rivers United, fortunately, falls into that bracket these days. Ifan Yuba as well. One or two players have shown this season. Pick them up. You go to MFM as well. So lots of players to pick around. But for the big teams, I think they are going to be able to keep their players because a bulk of them did quite well for themselves this season and will be on the continent. Kano Pillars, Enugu Rangers, and Eyimba. These teams did well, and it's going to be difficult seeing their players leave, except maybe for Aqua United, where that's if they fail to win the ITO Cup now, some of the players might want to leave to greener pastures.